Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, as long as the beer came out, it sounds like it came out pretty good. Uh, it's yeah, so far, I would say. Yeah, I do get, like, a audio feedback on my end, which is interesting. Or like, it's quite delayed. It's like you oh, it's because I have YouTube on, yeah, fucking duh. Yeah, it's because I haven't mu yeah, I haven't muted my YouTube. Dude.
Wow.
Yeah, it's I think I'm on there, but, mm. Some people have it. It's getting more common. Yeah. What's up? I guess I'm the only audio tonight. I'm just gonna mime what he says. I think it's okay. It works pretty well. I use, kind of a device to
Hello.
simplify it all of my inputs go into it. It's called the
Hello.
Blackmagic Atom Mini Pro.
Okay. I think we're cooking with
So
grease.
then it's basically I plug all my, HDMI cameras and mics and stuff into one device, and then I can switch them on that device, so then none of the computing is on my computer. Use, kind of a device to simplify it all
I
of
think
my
we're good.
inputs go into it. It's called the Blackmagic Atom Mini Pro.
Can you still hear me?
All right. I can still hear you.
Okay, good. Can you get party time? What's up, man? Got it. Goose Frabo, what's up, y'all? Blackwood. Zach Pearson. We're starting early today. We're on a 6 hour time, not delay, time zone change. Usually, what's up, Todd Porter? Usually it's 1 hour at the latest with party time and Jorge down there in Puerto Rico. But no, we're cooking with grease, man. He's got work at 8 in the morning too. Dan, what's up, dog? What are you
What's
drinking?
up? We actually, after work, immediately Call and I canned some beers, and what better way to do quality control than try one out? We also changed to these black tops,
I
so
like that.
pretty pretty excited. I think it's a sweet look with the black and white.
It is a
So
good look.
it's a oat cream double IPA. It's with the video that we did the collab on
It was
together,
awesome.
and
It was a great beer.
thank you. Yeah, and
It was.
slowly been kind of tweaking it over time too. So next time you brew it, let me know, and I have some small changes over time, just kind of dialing it in,
Yeah,
and
I used
hopefully you can hear it close to the mic. Yeah.
pour that into a glass and show that puppy off. That was a great beer. I'm just bummed out that my guys couldn't. I drank it before they showed up. That was like one of the fastest beers I was able to drink out here in Knoxville by myself. But in San Diego, that beer wouldn't have lasted 2 hours. Zach Pearson, Hoppy Hour, and getting paid to listen. That's awesome, man. What's up, James? What's up, Party Time? What's up, Vin? What's up, Todd Pearson? Yeah, doing a little bit earlier tonight. Sorry about last week. I just needed some. I just needed to chill out after All the Oz and Gnome took off. I worked earlier that morning. I was just like, dude, I just got to chill out for a little bit. Not too many Homebrew for Life videos. Not too many Bent Gate videos coming up. But you guys have a cool video I saw of you guys doing that crazy shit where you set up a cot hooked into a mountain.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah, we have a yeah, we have a new video that I'm editing now, that Colin and then our friend Aaron helped shoot, where we like brewing in really stupid places, and then so we're brewing on the side of a cliff that is overhanging very deep water. So it's actually a place where people do like deep water soloing and climbing. It's quite tall. It's, I don't know, maybe 4 stories tall. So
Enough to kill you
just
or break your ass butt
yeah.
muscles. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're doing a brew there basically, and it's kind of the similar lines of doing the brew in Colin's van video. So just kind of like these fun. It's an excuse for us to do stupid adventure stuff, have a reason to film it, tie it to the channel, and just be idiots. So
I like it.
yeah, that's what we were doing.
Did I see that on Instagram or was that a YouTube teaser?
You saw some of the stuff kind of day of on Instagram
On the
so
stories,
people want
yeah.
to kind of see what we're doing. I guess they could follow us on Instagram, but we'll be posting that video within the next week or so on actually. So now we're just waiting for this little beer to brew, so it's like it's no more volume. It's probably like half this volume of beer that we brewed. Really stupid.
No, I love
People
your
are
guys'
asking about
channel,
this.
man. I love you guys' channel, but
Yeah.
your
thanks.
production's phenomenal. I could just tell that videos probably take about a month to get out. Yeah, at least.
Yeah, it's mostly just time to edit because I have a full-time job, so it's
Yeah.
for me it's kind of I want to do it and have it be fun. So I edit as much as I humanly can, and then if it doesn't get out, doesn't get out. So do our best.
Yeah, that's a good thing about YouTube is that it's, you're not paying to rent out a brick and mortar, like hey, I could just put this video on a backlog for a month and get to it when I've got my mojo back up. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's the videos that bomb on YouTube that kind of like take the wind out of your sails. It's when I go on vacation or when I host somebody, it's like I need a week just kind of to like hit the gym and save money and eat hot dogs with no buns and dino nuggets
Right.
and just kind of get your life
Yeah.
back together. But it's like everybody, like you come back from a bachelor party or a vacation, like you're not like maybe you are depressed, but like there's 3 or 4 days you just gotta like I just kind of want to curl up in a ball and just Netflix and chill for a little bit,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But no, it was a great beer. We got a question about that. Mark Pollock says, I want to hear about their hazy recipe, the one that I brewed. How do they get away with such low hopping rates? I don't know if they do.
They're
pretty much
not
shun an
really.
island.
They're not such low hopping rates. I guess you didn't do exactly what we did, or you did the double dry hop. You did.
I did
right?
the double dry hop, but I did not do your 10-day. You had a 2-day, a 5-day, I believe a 7-day. I definitely know you had a 10-day on there. I was like, I just can't do this.
We only have 2, so we do sort of like the biotransform hop, which is like high activity 2-day, and then a 10-day.
Okay. Yeah.
But our
There he is,
hopping
over here
rate.
right there.
Let's see what our hopping rates are.
No, but that's one of the video. Like, I don't really have that much time to be brewing because I edit every video. Do you edit all your videos, Dan? Because I know you had a guy helping out film in the beginning, but he was just filming.
Uh, yeah, he just helps us with filming, and he does do some helping with kind of, let's say, chopping up the stuff so it's easier to edit later.
Just looking at what you want to keep and what's, the 99,
Yeah,
which
which
takes
is a huge
all
part of
day.
it too.
Yeah, which takes all day.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say he does help with the editing in that part, and then I'm kind of the editor for the rest of it. So kind
Yeah.
of, and then improving in time. But for the hopping rates, we're doing 10 grams per liter for the dry hopping, which is, it's not that low, but it's not that high. Some people are doing like 40 grams per liter. I don't know what that would be in ounces per gallon. Sorry, guys. Um, but I'd say mediocre hopping rates on this beer.
My milliliter stuff's getting a little bit better. What's a 750 bottle of liquor? Like 25 ounces? So you pretty much, like, if you want to get one of your nice bottles of Maker's Mark or Bullet or something, if you get that for $25, I always kind of figure it like that. It's pretty much $1 an ounce, which is great, because the markup on alcohol is insane.
Mm, yeah.
But my milliliter game's getting a little bit stronger. But you guys just do such big quantities, I really have to think about it and do some pen to paper. Because you're doing, what was the recipe that you sent for me? That was
120 liters. So that's I don't know, man. Let's see, 120 liters, 2 gallons.
20.
That's 32 gallons basically. It's a barrel about.
Okay. Which would make sense for your system.
Yeah.
But no, that was a fantastic beer. I'm going to do that beer again. I got a buddy coming out late October. All he drinks is hazies. And I'm going to do that beer, and I'm going to do the same way I did it as last time. I'm not going to change a thing. From the water chemistry to the dry hopping magnets to the temperature control, everything's going to be the same. El Dorado hops. Would you use in that, Sabro?
We've been playing around with it, but it's typically been a mix of Sabro, Mosaic, and Citra.
Can you get hops
And
from
just
Can you get hops from Yakima Valley super easily? Is it the same? I mean, if you spend over $100, will they?
yeah,
waive
you
the
can get them
shipping?
here.
Just spend a
No,
lot of money.
I think they have distributors in Europe, so I just use I buy everything in 5 kilo bags. So I
2.2
don't know if that is
pounds.
in pounds, but yeah, just the big. It's probably the standard size bag, like the
Right.
big bags that you buy.
Right.
So I buy there, so then that saves a lot of money. But that only kind of makes sense if you're brewing the beer that we do. It doesn't make as much sense if you're doing, like 5-10 gallon batches.
So a little bit about these guys for those who have not listened to our streams. I think this is the third time you've been on. I know it's
It's the third time. The first time was like the intro with Colin and I on here,
Yeah.
and then I've kind of hopped in where I like woke up and you guys were still raging.
Yes. Yes. The first night
And then
Colin
now
was
here.
kind of playing second fiddle just based off kind of their microphone and how much people you can cram into a shot and stuff like that. But no Colin tonight, but this is Dan. They've got a 1 barrel system out there, and if you follow them on Instagram, it's cool to see them getting touchdowns accounts. I call them touchdowns when you can get into places and see your beers on menus next to big brands that people know about. I'd imagine that's a pretty rad feeling.
Yeah, it's been really fun, the experience so far, and that's kind of what we're doing it for.
Are you guys making money yet? Or are you guys
so-
still in the red?
We are now
Factor-
making money.
Factoring labor
But-
or not factoring labor, because that's a big
Absolutely not factoring
Right,
labor.
right.
I don't get paid shit.
Yeah.
None of us get paid shit.
No, so
No,
support
so
their
it's-
channel. Click on the link in the bio. Support all the brew tubers. Even if you don't watch the video, just click on the video. And me and Gnome went to a local homebrew store when we picked up our. We made a pineapple sour, and it turned out phenomenal. Yeah.
Damn, that sounds good.
Spoiler alert, but
Do
we
they have
did.
pineapple juice in it?
We did the
Is that how you got
puree,
pineapple?
the Oregon stuff,
Nice.
the expensive stuff. It's like $25. And the funny thing about that is when you buy fruit from Oregon, I think you can get it on Amazon, but you have to get it in the can format. They don't sell it in like the big bag format. Kind of looks like just like a big bag of trail mix. But you can get it on Amazon. It is expensive stuff, and it significantly changes in pricing, whether depending on what fruit that you want. Like blueberries, like you can get the same quantity in the same bag, but I think we paid like 25 or $30, but I think blueberry was like 55. So just imagine that on like a
Damn.
bigger scale, you know, like you're paying almost 2 to 1 on just the fruit. And you can't, you know, if you had a tasting room, you can't charge more, right? Like if you did like a blueberry goza and then like a pineapple goza, you can't charge double for this one. You know, that's not really the customer's problem to know about the reality of, you
Right.
know, fruit costing more or less than other fruit. But it went really good. But I remember going into the homebrew store and I was talking to the mom and the pop there, and they were like, "Yeah, man, it's just tough. Like we've been doing this for 25 years, and it's just getting tougher and tougher and tougher, and everything's kind of online now, and you're even hearing about Northern Brewer shutting down their brick and mortars and stuff. So it's good to spend money there, and they had the good stuff. And this was the first time we used Sour Vise, and spoiler alert, it's way better than Philly Sour. It turned out, I think I got
Mm.
3.3, which was a super, super sour beer. You know, what I expected was like maybe a 3.5 or a 3.6. And for those who know sours or brew sours, going from like 3.5 to 3.3 is significantly more puckered up.
Yeah. It's a logarithmic scale.
It's a
So
lot. Yeah. So it was good to use, like when you get that low, I'm glad that we bought the pineapple. You know, you want to use something like pineapple or strawberry rather than like going with the citrus. You know, if like you're already at 3.3 or 3.2, it's like, dude, you better sweeten it out now. Like you really want to do lime or lemon or orange, you know,
right.
like maybe add some more sweetness just to kind of get a balance of it to make it just drinkable. But
Yeah.
the beer's doing really good. We shot for like 10:45. I think we hit like 10:44, and the final gravity was a little bit too residual. I think it was like 10:15, but maybe adding fruit will pick that up. I haven't done this in a while. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Do you have experience with getting better conversion from adding
Mm,
fruit to secondary or kegging fruit?
no, no, not really. And it's not something I've done so much. So usually the only trick I pull out to kind of try to finish off more is increasing temperature. But I haven't really had any experience kind of correlating that with fruit additions or
High
anything.
ABV, yeah.
Because yeah, I don't do my like our brewery does no fruit beers at the moment because like you said, it's
It's
just
expensive.
we can't afford it.
Takes up so
And
much
that's
room
also
too.
like yeah, and then you know even like asking about our hopping rates, that's kind of why we stay in the moderate to like kind of like bare minimum what you need for the styles is because we don't really have enough money yet to just like throw hops at the problem because we're you know it's like it's literally like my money not the brewery's money so it's
Right.
uh yeah
Do you even
so
have it set up like that? Do you have like an LLC and you pay yourself as a W-2, or is it not even there yet?
it's not even there yet so now
Okay.
it's just sort of I'm
You sound like my
the
YouTube
owner
channel.
and then yeah, I'm the owner and then but I don't get paid.
Right. It's more of a passion project.
Yeah, exactly. And we're in the fortunate position where it can be, right? So
Right.
I think that's what makes it doable for us is that we're able to not be stressed about, you know, feeding our families if the beer doesn't turn out or if we don't produce enough beer. And so we
Right.
are kind of in a fortunate situation that maybe not everyone has. So
Right.
that's kind of what allows us to stay in the space and take our time.
So not only that, he's got a project brewery, but he's also got a passion project YouTube channel. So he's got a lot going on, and I just you know, for my advice is just like don't get burned out. Just maybe take you know, a couple days off here and there if you have to, and just kind of get your mind right, get a run in the morning, or go climb or hit the gym, and then you know come back to it because YouTube can I don't own a brewery, but just you know, brewing a batch of beer and it comes out shitty, and then I got to, you know, spend 30, 40 hours like editing this. It's like, this could really like fuck your vibe up, you know, this could really give you some blues, you know? So, um, a little bit different though, you know, cause your channel is kind of
Mhm.
geared towards more kind of growing, I would imagine, because you can't really, you don't really want to experiment the way that a YouTuber would and be like, hey, let's just try this crazy new video and see what happens. It's like, you can do that, but like you could also backfire a couple times with that and it'd just be like, hey, we just got to like hone some recipes in and figure out ways to maybe, I don't know, get exposure and maybe that's where we need to put our content strategy in. So
yeah, we're more focused, like you said, kind of on kind of going from a home, like we are literally home brewers that go to pro brewers in my basement, and that's the story of doing that. And I think, is it a good idea? Ask me later.
Right. No, and I like what you said on our first stream. You were like, I just always wanted to have a YouTube channel, and me too. Like whether it was a video game thing or whether it was homebrewing and stuff like that. But I'm watching a lot of videos right now, and I'm watching the channel, like particularly Trent the Brew Show and stuff like that. And I'm trying to write down videos I want to do in 2024 where I could put out content faster. It still might have a beer theme or maybe just like, hey, like here's my top 6 cocktails. I've been a bartender. I've been doing this for a while. Like, I think it'd be cool just to teach people like, hey, here's how to make a Cosmo or a mojito or this. And I think I could put a pace on it and give it kind of like my dick off homebrew for life thing. And I think I could keep people around. And, that's a cool video I could put out and I don't have to wait for fermentation, and it could bring in maybe somewhat of a different audience. But, I don't know. I just like watching bartender videos, and I always think like I just think I could do it. Like all these videos, I think that if you can brew, you could be a good bartender, unless you don't want to be around people. And I definitely think you could be a good cook. If you have the patience to brew and be precise about this and waiting around and understand temperature control, I think that rolls over to a lot of things in the kitchen. But I've got friends that brew and I've got friends that cook and they're phenomenal. They're just like, I can't be a bartender. Like, I just can't be in front of people. I don't want a Karen. I don't want a guy to yell at me. I don't want to kiss someone's ass. I don't care at all. I've been doing guest services for 20 years. So, I've got no problem, working a bartending shift or helping out at a buddy's wedding or something like that. But I also think bartending's fun as hell. I think it's a blast making burritos.
I mean, even in cocktails though, like something that I haven't seen or at least found myself, and I wish I could find, are like simple kegged cocktails, right? Like,
dude,
I make my own keg cocktails all the time for parties, and people are just blown away by literally just a cocktail that you added CO2 to.
Yes.
And also kind of maybe dilute it so that people can crush it and not die if they drink a giant glass of it.
Dude, that's a really good point. That's a really good point, because Dan, start paying attention. It's super easy. And I was watching this video. It was this dude it's one of the most prestigious bars in New York. He's got the pictures. It's right next to Radio City Music Hall. It's a good YouTube channel. I don't know if it's their YouTube channel. Maybe they just came in. Maybe it was like GQ or Variety or something. But they were talking about like the oldest bar, the most prestigious bar in New York. And, Woodford Reserve, it's like a $50 bottle. He had like 12 of them, and he poured them into a plastic bucket. And then he mixed in what's in Old Fashioned. His bitter sugars, whiskey. And it just looked like this big vat, like an aquarium. And then he put it in corny kegs, and he was selling them for $25. And I was like, dude, when you're high volume, you have to be like that. You have to be like that. Like if you're in San Diego, maybe there's a couple places that have margaritas on draft, but a lot of times you don't know, or a lot of times people just don't care. But whenever I order a drink now, I want to see if I'm at a high volume place, I want to see what's going on. Because if you pour that $13 margarita and it takes 2 seconds, you're making a lot of money, man. You're making a lot of money. And then somebody wants like we'll call it a mojito, where you need mint, and you've got to get your muddler, and you've got to pound 10 pieces of mint. And then, it's like and it's an $8 drink, and this took 2 minutes to make, rather than this slushy thing with, a shot of rum in there. I was like, these guys are making money. These guys are making hard alcohol on draft, on tap. And I think that there's not really a stigma or
Right.
if you're at a table, you don't even see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. You don't know
Yeah.
where it's
You
coming
got
from.
your thing you asked for.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was at this margarita restaurant. I was at this what do you call it? Like a cantina, and they give you the nice glass, and they hit it with they rim it with lime, and then they rub it and turn it upside down, hit it with salt, and then they pour it out of a quick little pour and then it's ready to go. And I was just like, damn, man, nobody would ever know. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's boozier, ordering a cocktail on draft. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
I want for parties though. I really like to make kegged cocktails, but do them in kind of like a spritz fashion, where I actually force carbonate them. I make them lower alcohol, like 5% instead of like 8 to 12 or 15 when a cocktail normally is.
make them more
And then that way people
drinkable.
can just like crush like
Right.
margaritas and mojitos and stuff like that on a summer day, and it's refreshing and bright and nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I haven't seen so many like how to make them, so I'm always figuring it out on the fly, just like hoping it works.
Well, I mean, how to
uh,
make them if you just want to do cocktails, it's almost like beer at this point. I mean, they just scale up, man. Like what's in
right,
what are
if you
what,
just yeah.
what's a Manhattan or a old fashioned? It's the same thing except for sweet vermouth. So it's what 2 ounces whiskey, half-ounce simple, 4 dashes of this, and then just scale that up. And probably the most expensive thing in
Right.
that whole thing is bitters. I don't know why bitters is so fucking expensive, but it's that Angostura stuff. That little 4 ounce
Yeah.
bottle. It's like $15 for
Yeah,
4 ounces.
those are always the thing where like if someone's like, let's make this cocktail, then you go to the liquor store and you're like, but do we need
Do we
the
need the
little bitters, or do we
bitters?
need the one little thing
Yeah.
that's like the one little tiny bottle that makes it special,
Yes.
but it's also super
The
expensive? You're like,
orange bitters, the
ah,
chocolate bitters, Are we making a YouTube
exactly.
video? Yes, buy it. Are we making a YouTube video? No, skimp out on it. Like
Exactly.
yeah. Hey, I'm gonna go get a hazy IPA from a really good brewery. Hold it down, Dan
Yeah,
from
sweet.
Colorado. He's in Colorado now. No, I'm just kidding. He's out there on the island of Europe.
So I saw some people also ask about, we have new black tops on our cans. So this was canned today, and we just changed it back to the black top. People are asking, A, do they cost more? And B, how do you put them on? So they do not cost more, but the difference is that or at least I can only find these in the CDL type lid in Norway, where the cannular, at least in Norway, and I think everywhere, comes with the older B64 lid. So that's the only difference, but they're the same price as any lid. Let's see what else we got here. And also, thanks everyone for joining kind of early. I know this isn't the normal streaming time. It's 12:30 here, so that's why we started a bit early. Last time we did the stream, we started. I think we started the stream at 3:30 a.m. our time, so this is a bit more digestible of a time.
We're compensating. We're balancing it
Exactly.
out. We're meeting halfway. So I
Yeah,
believe this
yeah,
is
because you initially were like, "Oh, should we do a 5 o'clock start?" And I was like, "Ah, that's like way too early. We'll meet somewhere in the middle where it's like midnight here. That then I'm in bed by like 3 or something. It's not the end of the world."
He's got a 5-hour power nap to get up and go take on the world. You're a computer programmer, right?
I am not. No, Colin is.
Sorry.
I'm a research scientist, so I work in energy.
Scientist. That was my second guess.
Any fun video ideas coming up, Trent? Yeah, so we just filmed. Ooh, that looks really good.
This is a really good
We
beer.
just filmed a whole video on the side of a cliff over a
Elementary.
deepwater lake in Norway. So,
Dude, you got to save that video to your story. Can they look at it right now, or did you get rid of it? Was it only 24 hours?
it was only 24 hours.
Gotta
I
pin
think.
that. You got to pin that next time, man. That was an epic video or an epic
Oh,
teaser.
yeah, I could. Yeah, well, you'll just have to wait. It's gonna come out in the next week or two, so you'll see. But it's basically another one of the series where that we like to do where we brew beers in really stupid places. So if you guys have more ideas for stupid places that are hard to get that you wouldn't want to brew a beer in, put them below, and then we'll do
That's
it.
about as dangerous as
Film a
it
video.
gets, unless you are just hanging from a bungee or something, because everyone knows the GoPro shot with the selfie stick where the guys have the cot that's bolted into the side of, what's the Yellowstone or Half Dome or something. They're just kind of chilling out and cooking food. This is what these guys are going to be doing. So put that on your radar, man. Elementary in the house. What's up, man? What's up, Orlando? That's my Johnson. Patrick Buckles, what's up? Good to see people here. We got a pretty good turnout here for 3:40. No, 6:40. This PC still on Pacific Standard Time. But speaking of videos coming up, man, what's up with the brew shows? And I've got a backlog of videos I got to look at. I got to watch Elementary's new video. Steve put one out. Martin put one out.
Yeah.
Martin's back on the
I'm a bit
channel.
behind too.
That's awesome. Got to keep brewing, man. What's up, Alias? What's up, Braj? Party time brewing.
Bradley, the Portly Gentleman, put one out too.
Yeah, man.
I think today or yesterday.
I'm watching just like all the NFL top 100s right now. I got to snap out of it.
Yeah, I'm on a bit of a YouTube backlog as well. It's just been like free time equals editing. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. I still have my bed in my office. Ollie else was in the other room. He's still got his deflated air. I still have my deflated air mattress in there. I haven't touched it yet, but I'll get my shit together. I'm working tomorrow night, working Friday night, working Saturday night. But I got all the days off. Then I got Sunday, Monday off, so it'll be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he's coming out to Colorado. We might team up, at least maybe get me some beer. We'll figure that out, but that'd be awesome.
When's he going to Colorado, do you know?
Talking about you. You tell me.
Oh, I'm coming to. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Alias saying, yeah.
No, he just came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think
I'll be
about
going
coming out?
to Colorado. I'm going from the 7th to the end of the month, basically.
So you're leaving in a week.
Yep.
It was funny. We talked about plane tickets, like coming to Knoxville.
Yeah, from Oslo was like $600.
Right. And my family who's coming out in October is spending like $500 to go from San Diego to Knoxville. So if you can
it's incredible how expensive it is to fly like within the United States.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit similar within Europe as well. It's starting to get that way where it's getting expensive to fly within Europe. Not as extreme as the United States.
Right.
Then flying intercontinentally is like
silly.
Often similar price, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What is Party Time saying? Since you're off, might as well swing by up here. I think Party Time, James, has the most difficult house to get to. It's straight up like into the wild, Emil Hirsch shit. Like trying to find his house is like a boat to a hitchhiker.
On a horse.
You lose your buddy, and then you meet up with him halfway at the end. Easy peasy. I wish. No, but that'll be cool. I got people coming down here October, and I am going to brew that hazy again. And if anybody wants to brew a great hazy IPA, look at the link in our video, or he can just give it to you straight up, depending on what hops you can get to and just what's available. But that was a phenomenal beer. I think this is a really good beer that I'm drinking right now, and I think that beer was better. This has a little bit more hop burn than I would like, but this beer that I'm drinking right now, Paper Crowns from Zool, I believe it got gold at the big one, not the GABF one, the second one down, which is the San Diego one, which is World Beer Fest or International Beer Fest or something. But it was a great beer. It was a great hazy IPA, and a hazy IPA is a really good thing to brew because there's not a lot of problems going through a 5-gallon batch of that style.
Yeah, it's definitely a style that's gained popularity in Norway because Norway's, I would say, a bit behind generally in beer trends.
Yeah,
But
I
it's one
know.
of those that is really big here. So it's kind of smart to brew as a brewery here because you know it's going to sell, you know it's going to do well.
Right.
Even though, eventually I want to get more into like really weird niche sours and stuff like that. That's my real jam, but that just takes more equipment and more time that we don't have yet, but will come.
Well, if you come to Knoxville, there's this place I want to bring you to. It's called Zool, and their sours when they come out, they almost look like science experiments, man. They really do.
Cool.
And when they store their kegs, they store them upside down, and when they bring them out, they flip them back over because there's so much puree. There's so much stuff going on in these beers, and when they bubble up and you pour it, you got to put it down, but it literally looks like the foam is just so weird. It's like almost like snot coming out. But these beers sell like hotcakes. It's out of control. Keith Allen, post the recipe. I did post the recipe. You just got to do 2 more seconds of research to stiff it out, and you got it. Yeah, Todd Porter knows. He knows Zool. Flying to Cincinnati on Friday for $35. Life would be so much easier if all my friends and family just either moved to Knoxville or moved to Las Vegas. I feel like getting into Las Vegas is the cheapest ticket from anywhere in America. Everybody goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
Or I'm wrong. Yeah, the peanut butter and
Yeah,
jam. What's up, bro?
it's similar like that in Europe. Like there's some places in Europe that are super cheap to fly to no matter what. Like Paris, Amsterdam, those are just
Once you're in there, it's
nothing
cheap.
to fly to. Once you're in Europe, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I want to
Yeah,
go to both
yeah,
those
it's maybe like
places.
$80, $60, $80.
Norway's on the euro, right? Everyone's on the euro except for pretty much England at this point.
We are not, no,
Oh yeah, we
because
talked about this.
Norway, yeah, we're on a Norwegian kroner.
Yeah,
I think
Kroner
they're
by the
actually
K.
not in the European Union, and I think it's because they didn't really. They're sort of like have enough wealth here where with the oil and the fisheries that they sort of are like, well, we want all of like the benefits of being within Schengen,
But we're
but
not bringing
we don't
anything to
want
the
you to.
table.
We don't want, yeah, like we don't really need so much from EU, and we don't really want to pay your taxes. So we're gonna do our own thing.
Fair enough.
Good luck.
Stay
And
sovereign.
then EU's like, well, we need your oil, so yeah.
Interesting. I'm still I'm still kind of not confused, but I'm still kind of bewildered. How did you guys set up outside of Oslo of all places? Was it word of mouth or did you guys already know or climb? Because I know you
Um,
obviously the theme to
yeah.
your channel and your brewery is mountain climbing or climbing. I don't know what the proper nomenclature for that one is.
Yeah, the reason my brewery, so I live outside of Oslo, which is where the brewery is. And then
Don't you
Colin
live
lives within
upstairs?
Oslo. Do I? Yeah, yeah, I live upstairs.
Right on. Do you rent that out?
Um, nope. So I own the house and
You
stuff.
own a house in outside of Oslo. That's awesome.
Yeah, so well, that's kind of the reason why it's outside of Oslo is A, the houses like this don't exist in Oslo, and B, there's no way I could afford it. Like Oslo,
Downtown.
I mean, I don't know if it's San Diego expensive, but a 1 2 bedroom apartment in a nice area would be uh $500,000 to $700,000.
Downtown
Um,
San Diego, it would be way more than that. But if you got up to North County,
yeah,
where I'm
okay,
from, it'd be around that.
yeah,
A 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom apartment for sale. Those are tough to come by because usually those are just everyone rents those,
right.
unless you are going to buy some crazy loft downtown. But yeah, no, I hear you, man. Everyone's just trying to
Yeah,
get
and
through this fucking
if you
life.
want to buy an actual house within Oslo, then you're looking at $1 to $1.5 million.
Right. Is it the same
So
kind of
that's not.
20% down, 800 credit score, same
Yeah,
vibe? Yeah.
it's yeah, and the interesting thing about the percent down, it's a government requirement. So you have to, if you're under 35, you have to have 15%. no matter what. So there's like no exceptions to the rule. And then if you are over 35, you need 20% down. So basically, if you, I was able to get into the system because I have a Norwegian partner, but without that, there's no way because you need to save up. Most people, instead of their parents paying for college, because college is free, they help them with a down payment on like a small house and they start building equity. People own houses here a lot, not all, but when they're like 20.
That's crazy though, because A, I would never be able to own in Oslo, but B, that just seems like that just keeps like the rich richer and the poor poor, because I would just be renting forever. Like
Exactly.
you'd be
So
able
if you're in, you're in.
right.
If you're out, you can't get in.
Damn, that
It's the
sounds like
same
a tough
kind of everywhere.
place. You know, you're talking about $1 million houses. It's like who the hell has 15 or 25% of that unless you already had a house? Nobody can just save that up.
Exactly.
It's just not
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, it's
Yeah. Like
interesting.
if you had a house that you got when you're 20 and then you've traded houses, 10 times in the
You're
last, or
in.
two times, three
Yeah,
times in the last 10 years,
right,
you actually might actually have the equity to get it. But
right.
I guess that's this problem's happening everywhere. So it's, I don't think Oslo's any special there.
Well, here's what
Things are
I
getting expensive.
here's what I do know is I'm trying to pick up like I'm trying to work as much W-2 hours as I can up until
Mm.
12/31, just to have the best possible tax return with as much W-2 money, because the lenders look at your 1099 money as pretty much like one step up from being a coke dealer. Like it is not good money. They
Yeah.
don't like that. Maybe I should double down and just sell coke and then just buy houses outright. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong
Exactly.
way. Maybe
Just show up in cash.
yeah, let's just buy everything.
Fuck your
with coke
loan.
money. Yeah, I don't want to deal with you guys, man. I got cash. I'm the California guy with cash. But no, and if
Yeah.
I can't figure it out, it's like, damn, I got money saved up. I've got everything that they need, but they need like another year of W-2 with this. I'm like, I'm out of here. I'm just gonna go move to Central America or South America.
Yeah.
And I figure since I'm probably never gonna have kids, maybe a couple more girlfriends in my life, like it's probably maybe a good idea to do. Just like, hey, like I just went and lived in a Spanish speaking country for a year. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get like those opportunities kind of come and go. So if you
Yeah.
take them, then they might never come back.
No, and all my friends, especially my friends that have wives and kids, they're just like, dude, do it. Just do it, because they're never going to be able to do it. There's just no way in hell unless their kids actually,
Yeah. And then they'll
graduate high
live
school.
vicariously through you
Yeah.
and your stories. And like,
Yeah.
wow.
So, I said this on the last stream or a couple streams ago, but like, YouTube is the best and worst thing you could do, because, I mean, if you're renting and you want to own a house, don't throw all of your money into YouTube, because it's all 1099 money and it is just not good money. It's just not. It's good if you're in your 20s and you pay less in taxes, I guess, but I want to work at breweries and pour beer. Like, hey, I want the most hourly wage you guys have, the most foot traffic, and if there's cash tips at the end of the night, like I don't even want to like put that all into government money. Like just put that all in there. So we'll see. But at the end of the day, man, life's good. I still got my penis. I'm still brewing beer. I've got a 5-gallon batch going right now. I'm gonna ship glass out to Oliaz and Nome out there in Rhode Island and Austin.
Wow.
Yeah, I just want to own a house, man. Like the whole going to Asheville and hanging out at Clawhammer's thing, and it just kind of fucked with me. I was like, this is just the coolest thing in the world. I'll never be able to do this in San Diego. And it's like, well, I can do it in the South. And they're like, well, you need a cosigner, or else you need to show like 2 years of working W-2. I was like, fuck, here we go, man. Like I can give you everything that a W-2 guy is giving you, but they just can't do it. That whole housing crisis of 2009 made everything just way more stringent.
Right. Yeah.
But
That's super annoying.
it is super annoying. But whatever. I don't know. But congratulations on you for owning a house in a country that you weren't born in. That's pretty epic, man. I don't know too many people who have that, except one friend who owns a house in Panama. So
Yeah, it's a little bit it's a little bit, I would say, easier. It can be a little bit easier in Norway depending on if you have the down payment or not. So I think most people are able to get into like my age because either they're Norwegian, so they've like built up the equity, or they have a partner that has the equity. So outside of that, then it's kind of impossible
Yeah,
unless you make like an insane amount of money.
unless you make an insane amount of money. But I think the biggest kicker to most people why they can finally like first just get in is because they have a partner or two incomes or a significant other or
Yeah,
something, like I've got buddies who
yeah.
married chicks and then, their grandparents just bought them a house for their wedding present. I'm like, fucking, you would never own that house. Never in a million years would you ever own this
Wouldn't
house.
that be
Wouldn't
fucking
that, yeah.
nice?
You got married and the dad paid for the $50,000 5-hour party and the grandparents just bought you a house. That's never happening in your life as a single guy. It's just not.
No.
So,
No.
yeah, two incomes for the win. Two incomes for the win.
Yeah, it helps. It helps at least to get in the door, and
Yeah.
then yeah,
And then when you do get the two incomes, some people have the kids and this and that, and they're like, well, let's get a nanny and, or whatever. You find that break even point where it's like, do we get a nanny or do you just stay home and be a house mom and take care of the kids? It's like, no. Here's what you do. Who's ever making the most money from the 9 to 5, keep that. And then who's ever not making as much, what do you do now? You become a bartender. So you're making killer money. You're making, I don't know, whatever, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. And you've got the kids in the daytime. And then when the husband or the wife or the bartender goes to work at 5 o'clock, the kids are now with the person that just got off. And that's how you do it. That's how a couple of my friends do it back in San Diego, and they get away with it. Later, Jaggers.
nice.
Later, Braj. I don't know, man. We're going down a bunch of different scenarios, but yeah, life in general, huh? So, what are you doing in Colorado next week? Are you just hanging out with family? Or are you just catching up, or is it?
Yeah, I have a wedding. I have a wedding to go to. One of my best friends and was my roommate for a long time.
Nice.
She's getting married, so that's super exciting. And then after that, just kind of adventuring around. So I typically always go out to the mountains and desert when I go there. So I'll be in Utah in the middle of nowhere.
How far is
So
Utah
that's typically what I do.
from Colorado? Drive time?
It's like maybe 6 hours.
Oh, that's nothing.
Not that far.
That's nothing.
No, it's something you can do on a weekend.
Later,
Or
elementary.
even less. It depends where you go.
Party
So
time.
it's chill.
And then the couple never sees each other ever again.
Exactly.
It's kind of how it works, man.
And,
But at least you're not
and
paying
that's
for
how
a nanny.
divorces were born.
And that's how. That's how
The
divorces
kid leaves
work.
the house and they break up.
Shit, you probably have a better marriage if you're not seeing each other, any more than once a week. At least till the kids get out of their terrible twos or whatever. And I'm just kidding. I
How
have
did
no
it
idea.
last so long? We never had to see each
We
other.
never had to see each other. Yeah.
It was great.
That was going to be one of my jokes at my buddy's wedding. And my best friend got married in San Diego. And he's like, you got to give a speech. And I was like, do you want to go for blood? Do you want to go for the heart? He's like, just raw dog it, man. Go for it. And one of my jokes written down is that she's from Oaxaca. She's got broken English. He doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. And I was like, they're going to be together forever. Like, they can't hear each other talk or say stupid shit. I mean, this is like this is going to go on for all of eternity. And I didn't say it. Thank God, because I did a couple jokes building up to that didn't land. And just thank God in my drunkest hour, I hit the brakes on that one. But I thought it was a good joke. I mean, I don't know.
It is a good joke.
Yeah, we'll save that for
But
the
yes, yeah,
10:30
depends,
crowd.
yeah.
I don't know, the 6 o'clock crowd with all
Exactly.
the grandmas in the audience, and especially when they're paying for shit and go from the heart in that regard. But yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm stoked for
Do you
your
have
trip,
any new
man.
videos coming out?
Yeah,
Do you have any new videos coming out?
Yeah,
Is it this brew that you just did?
I've got a video that worked out with. I've got that video coming out. I've got a lot of homebrew flight videos coming out. I kind of swallowed my integrity, or kicked all my integrity. I'm doing a thermometer video with Inkbird, and we went back and forth for a little bit, and I talked to Trent. I talked to everybody in the thread, and they hit up everybody. It's this copy paste thing, and everyone's like, "Yeah, I turned it down. I turned it down. I turned it down." I was like, Well, if everyone's turning it down, I'm going to like swoop in on the whole budget, you know? So
Exactly.
they hit me up and they were like, hey, can you make this video? We're looking at like a $500 range. And I said something like, hey, how about like $5,000? You know, like whatever, like just fuck with people that hit you up. And they were like,
Yeah.
actually, yeah, like the most we could do was 1,000. And I was like, okay, they're actually writing back now. Like now they're real people. It's not just a bot. They're kind of like,
Right.
And I was like, how about 2,500? And they were like, how about like 1,200 for like a 10-minute video? I was like, no one's going to watch a 10-minute video on a thermometer. Like, I don't know. I know enough about YouTube where it's going to be tough as hell for someone to click on a 10-minute video about of like what thermometer to buy. You could do that.
Is it a temperature one, control one, or is it just a straight up thermometer?
It's a cooking
Then it's
one.
like
It's a cooking one.
Okay.
Yeah, you stick it in your big
Yeah.
your piece of meat, and then you set it to your Wi-Fi or whatever. You know, there's only a couple things you can do, but it is Inkbird.
Start going around and taking temperature of stupid things.
Well, and I've got all these movie clips of you know, like, is this bad? Is your meat bad? Is this not working out bad? In, you know, like the clip from Clark Griswold from hey, Portly Gentleman, man, super chat in the house. Rosmus, much love, Portly Gentleman, man, out there in Santa Rosa, California. That looked a little bit small. Let me make this a little bit bigger. First super chat of the evening, man. Big shout out to Portly, man. Much love. I got to get him on here soon. But you remember that scene from?
Just watched your last video, Portly, the oxy.
Cotton?
Yeah, we both said it wrong. The plastic PET. Your Oxycontin video.
Yeah, that dry hopped it with fentanyl. No, we were trying to figure out who
spells the children.
Yeah, man, that Breaking Bad video where you came out with the blue. No, I'm kidding, man. Shout out to Portly for putting out content, though. But what I'm trying to say, remember the scene from Christmas Vacation or whatever vacation where they open up the turkey and it just like explodes and opens up, you know?
Yeah.
No one knows that clip. But just use shit like that. And then kind of maybe like give it like a Viagra spoof. It's like, is your, you know, meat coming out bad and this and that? And it's just like a dude like looking out the window or, you know, hanging out on a porch with like a, you know, like a sad looking dog or something. Just try to make it, I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, we met halfway. So I'm going to have a 5-minute video on a thermometer coming out in like the next 10 days.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I'm gonna fucking like and click it and give you all the feedback, man.
It's one of those things.
Get this motherfucker paid.
Oh, dude, they wanted like contracts and pictures and this and that. I was like, man, oh, sure, okay. I mean, I think you should be more worried about kind of like telling me what to do and what not to do. Because have you ever seen like a Homebrew for Life video? Like, I'm gonna be doing some off the wall shit, and then I looked at like the address on the proposal and everything was in China. And I was like, whoa, these guys are going to be in for one. Like, I thought Inkbird was like American through and through. It's all out in China. So,
Interesting.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then I've got the pineapple sour video, which I'm really looking forward to because I shot so much footage that week just with my phone. And we hit a concert, just a local live show. And, you know, we brewed and we were out. And, you know, Gnome is not a big eater. He doesn't like food. He's never had shrimp. He's never had this. So we were giving him oysters and stuff. And, it's just a cool vlog. I mean, that weekend, Gnome came in on Thursday and then left Monday morning. Like that weekend, I thought was like one night. Like it just flew by. It was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like having fun, you know?
yeah. And last day we played golf and that was awesome. That was the first time I played out here in Knoxville. And, All Y'all's is really good. We had a lot of fun. It was a really difficult golf course for me. And, I'm going to put that out there. And then I want to make a video on like top, like what to buy coming up to, you know, in Christmas, like what to buy for a system. And then I want to do like a spoof bartending video or like a real bartending video. It's like top 5 popular cocktails. And it's all the ones that like, people are like, what's in a Jack and Coke? It's like, well, it's a Jack and a Coke. Like what's in a Red Bull vodka? It's like, you know, you could do a video. What is in the thing that you just said? It's the things that you just fucking said. I'm aside from like the ice and maybe a glass. Like what's in a Red Bull and a vodka? You know, because there's a lot of cocktails out there where you say it, you know, like, let me get like a cran or, you know, a Jack and Coke or this and that. It's like, I don't know. Maybe let's make a video on the drinks that are just as common, but people don't know what they are. Like a Cosmo, right? I think the average person probably would know that. Or maybe not. Maybe the average person doesn't know it's, you know, it's vodka, cran, and whatever, you know, whatever bitters or simple syrup you want to use. But I want to make a video like that. Just something outside of beer. Just anything that's fun I can make in my kitchen. I've got everything. I think I have everything. And Tito's vodka, Bullet, bourbon, Bacardi, light, tequila, silver, margaritas. Just how to maybe make some drinks without using like the cheap sugar shit, you know, like crushing up your own making your own lime juice and I don't know. Maybe I'll make that video. We'll see.
I mean, like you said, that's also those nice videos where they kind of broaden the audience, bring people into your humor style. Because I think that's usually what catches people. It's like once they see it, they're like, "Oh, this is something."
Go on,
but you just need to bring those people in.
Yeah, just go on some dumb shit rant. Like today, we're gonna make Mai Tai. I don't really like drinking these. You know, like one of my buddies died. He enjoyed Mai Tais. He didn't die from drinking Mai Tais, though. He got run over by a car. You know, he was allergic to getting run over by cars. Or I don't know, like just shit like that. Yeah, and just maybe focus on like 45 seconds on like 5 cocktails. And I do love bartending. It's fun. I do love making drinks, and I think that's a video that I could film by myself. I could have a camera in front of me, and then probably my iPhone on another tripod right there, and then a tripod with like the Feel Good or the Feel World 5x7 external monitor, and then I would just lav mic myself up, and I think that I could make that video without paying somebody or having somebody over, and that would be a shit show to have a couple people over for that and be making cocktails and then try to film it the way you would want to and get all the shots. Like that would be difficult.
Yeah, if they're drinking them for sure.
If they're drinking them for damn sure, yeah. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's something I remember you always said, like when I first started watching the stream. Like it's so true. It's like, and you said about when you first started doing YouTube,
have
it's like
over.
brewing with friends over.
Right.
Is a terrible idea.
Right. And now throwing
tripods. If you're doing it like to like party and have fun, it's I mean it's fun, but it's like if you're saying if you want to get something done, especially a video, I couldn't imagine.
And the thing about brewing is people are going to be asking 1,000 questions. They're going to be like, well, what's the difference between like a pale ale and like an IPA? And you're like, just literally like 1 more ounce of hop, you know? And the next thing you know, like you have a boil over and this and that. And then his buddy brought somebody else over now. And, no, there's like a serious reality. Like when we stopped brewing or filming, when I left San Diego, I was like, hey, you guys are coming over tomorrow. It's you 3. Don't tell anybody else. People can come over at noon, like we're starting at 9 a.m., but don't, like this isn't a party, not even close. And you kind of set the tone as a host. Like if they come in and you're cracking, you know, a Bloody Mary or a double IPA, they're going to be into it. But I would always kind of like, hey, you guys want a beer? Like this and that, you know, give Maury a Pilsner or Kevin or whatever. Kevin typically never drank. It was always just me and Maury. But I kind of let him know like, hey, like here's a Pilsner. I'm going to give you like a pints of a Pilsner, right? I'm not going to give you like an 8-ounce double IPA or whatever we have on draft, you know?
Yeah, or just like the open taps here.
Yeah. So the shit show could be a shit show really fast. And on the other side of that, like you can get some of your gold, your funniest stuff when people are partying and acting silly. But I've also dropped kit lenses and I've dropped cameras, and it's just there's a reason people don't drink at work. You know, there's a reason that when you go to your job at 8 a.m. that people are sober and drinking coffee, you know, because for the most part, you got to have your shit together. But when you're shooting a video with your YouTube friends and this and that, people think like we're just getting fucked up all the time. And, you know, we could just come over and be loud and be obnoxious and it'll be in the video. And it's like, nah, at the end, it was not like that at all. It was like that in the beginning, but not even close towards the end. And at the end, I'd be like, get out of my house. Like, just fucking get out of here. Go to Pizza Port. We'll see you in an hour. You got to know and like, hey, man, like, be the scumbag director. Like, hey, like, your phone's ringing, you're talking, we can hear you outside, the door's closed, but we can still hear you. The cigarette smoke's coming in, like, same working.
Yep.
Brewing with
Yeah, I
friends.
mean, Colin and I typically have like an unwritten rule of we don't really drink if we're gonna drink on a brew day. Like we often brew on weekdays, so it's not really we don't anyways. But
Okay. You don't drink on
if for
weekdays?
example it's a well, it depends. Not so often.
Yeah.
It depends. There's no like rule. I do or I don't. But like, or if we're gonna drink, it's gonna be less. But like, if we're brewing on like a Saturday or something, where we're gonna hang out after the brew, anyways, we kind of have it so it's like until we start cooling down or like boil is almost finished, we don't start drinking because it's like we've learned the hard way too many times of
Right.
like you immediately get like forgetful and then you're like, oh shit, did
Right.
I sanitize the chiller? Oh, I didn't. Oh shit, I didn't
Right.
put this in the yeast starter. Blah blah. Like you
Yeah.
just make silly mistakes and then that's just it's not that much patience to wait a few hours. We've learned
And
the hard
what
way again, the
and
hard way a lot.
yeah, and one step further, like people would come over and I would like be an asshole and they'd be like, whoa, like CH is like this and that. I'm like, I gotta kind of chill you guys out, this and that. And like, whoa, in your videos, like it's super fun and this and that. It's like, well, you see the final product. It's like you can't just come over here with and talk about fucking skateboarding while you're all drunk or whatever. Like, shut the fuck up and sit down, you know?
Yeah, we're
Um,
filming.
yeah, so that can be a bummer too, where people are like, whoa, they see a different side of you, where they're like, whoa, this guy's like super serious right now. Like, what's going on? I'm like, well, yeah, because I got to make sure everything from like the batteries being charged to like double checking the audio, put the headphones on when we're laved up, because there was so many videos back in the day that we scrapped because I assumed he was on it and this guy assumed I was on it, and we put the memory cards in there and like we didn't have the audio, or it was filmed in some weird thing. It wasn't like MP3 or MP4. Like my buddy had this super nice
Mm,
camera and it was filmed almost like 60s or 70s style, and it was just this weird Canon format. And he would always
mm.
film like 10 times as much as I would. So I'd have maybe like 10 gigabytes and he'd have like 100 gigabytes. I was like, dude, I'm not color correcting any of this. I'm not color correcting any of this. Like, you need to go home and figure this out and then send it back to me. Um,
Yeah.
but this is a bummer because we just filmed for a couple hours. And unless you really want to spend a lot of time doing this, like I can't use this. And this is like the majority of the content of the footage that I want. So yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta,
it's if you don't match cameras and one of them's like shooting in raw log with the flat color profile and you have to color grade it, then it's like
yeah,
no.
that happened. We shot this dumb video nobody watched. It was craft cocktails or something. I think it was one of the last videos we shot. And I had this bottle
Mm,
from the 40s. I remember my grandfather had given me this bottle from like World War II or something. It was really just Canadian Club. And we cracked it. The seal was still on it and stuff. And it was a cool bottle because it didn't have a barcode on it. This was back in the day before the
mm.
barcode. And we just started making all these cocktails and he filmed everything. And I never like talked to him like how to film. I just kind of let him do his own thing. And it really was a bad idea on my end. Be like, hey, literally just like, I'll do the A-frame. I'll film Maury. You be off the side, film his hands, and then wear the headphones so you can always hear that Maury's audio is going through to our Zoom H6 or H3 or whatever. And he would just
Mm.
always kind of walk around. And then I remember we were getting ready to go out, and he the big SD card readers where you have to plug it in like a big one.
Yeah, yeah.
He had one of
Yeah,
those.
like compact flash, yeah, or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just remember looking at it, and he plugged it into my USB on my Mac, and it was like, this is going to take like 2 hours to upload. And I was just like, whoa, man, like we're already off on like a bad format. And we kind of stuck it out, or maybe we went out and I came home and I looked at the content. I was like, man, like, you know, you got to pay your friends whatever, $100 PayPal, this and that. I would never ask for like, I can't, or say like, I can't pay you for this. But we were never on the same page. And this was a dude who worked in multimedia for a living, you know, and I was just like, dude, I don't need this crazy fucking format. All I need is whatever. What 19 by 1080. I don't need 4K.
Yeah.
I just need this. And he would always like, well, I've got this crazy new camera. I was like, I don't care. I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I'm gonna shoot in 8K raw, and every second's a gigabyte.
So how we met on this, I looked at it, I was like, here's the clips that I want. And then he went back and he like color corrected them. And I sent him like 5 or 6. But it was a bummer. It was our last video. It was like me, Goman, Maury, Trevor. It was like the last hangout. And it could have been so much better if I just had the B-roll that I wanted. And yeah, man, there's just a reality. And we weren't even brewing that day. That was just, hey, let's hang out and make some cocktails and just be wacky. And it still was like a very, very frustrating video to edit. Just like a video that you're just like, I'm either gonna scrap it and hate somebody or just like fight through it and just give up like 2 more days of editing that I didn't have to.
Right, and just make it work even though you're not happy with it.
Not happy with it. Nice. And it, you know, it was a hangout. I know that this video is going to bomb. I know that no one's going to watch it, but I don't know. We're already like too pot committed, you know.
Yeah.
You spend 40 hours, pay everybody $100. Like we got to make this video that's going to get 500 views or whatever.
Yeah. What video what camera do you use?
I use a Sony A7 II, and I still just use a kit lens, so I really have to focus on my lighting. You know, if the lighting's good, the shitty stuff will be a lot better. Right. But I've always been kind of like audio first, then lighting, and then camera. You know, so and I do notice it, and I can tell like, God, these guys' videos look so much better than mine. Or it's just noticeable. But at the end of the day, like I tried to go that route in the beginning, and using the nice stuff, like it didn't roll over to views or subscribers or any conversion.
No, I mean it doesn't, right? Like unless your channel is literally like camera reviewing,
then, or you're doing like National Geographic, you know, like 120 frames per second. Let's zoom in on like this lizard's eyeball and like catch slow motion of it. Like it doesn't matter. I'm doing dick off videos on beer. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna grab another beer, but I don't have to go that far. I'll be right back. All right, you gotta hurry. I'm just super glad that you're gonna get another beer because I thought you were gonna take off because it's 1:15 in Dan's world.
Yeah,
am I right?
You still got some gas in the tank.
All right, we got 2 more beers left in us, and then he's gonna go to bed, and I might go out. 2 more beers, BRB, probably like 4 more beers.
This is lighting is fucking up. There we go. Say Norwegian brewery, Håndbryggeri. It's in outside of Oslo. I buy it because it's called Kitten Puppies and Hops, and it's a juicy double dry hop IPA. So, but it has kittens and puppies, so can't go wrong there. I'm sold. What is everyone else drinking tonight? Or I guess maybe it's a bit too early to start drinking for the people in the States. Go through the questions here. Beer price is crazy. Yeah, it's quite expensive. So I think this beer, not at a bar, at the Wine Monopoly is what it's called, costs $12, maybe $10 to $12, and it's a 15-ounce beer.
What up, Daniel Hunt? What's up, y'all? What up, Vin? What's up, chat?
What's up?
What are we talking about?
They're asking about beer prices in Norway.
Beer prices in USDs?
Yeah. Because I guess you were in Sweden, which is expensive, but not as expensive.
Were they on the krone?
Yeah, they have a Swedish kroner.
Swedish krona.
I don't know what the exchange rate, and I don't know why they're different, but they are because Scandinavia does what it wants and has tall blonde people.
My
So.
thing with Sweden was just divide everything by 10. Like, all right, this burrito is $100. I'm like, okay, it's $10. This works out the best. And then Germany,
Yeah,
everything
it's
was straight
about
up.
that.
And then Prague, I don't know why Prague is so cheap, but for bang for your buck, Prague has got to be pretty darn high. I've heard Croatia's rad. I just don't know a lot of people who have gone to Croatia. I just know a couple.
I was in Croatia in June
Does the
or
money
July.
money goes far out there?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I guess I'm coming from Norway, right? But and I was in kind of a more touristy area. And yeah, but Croatia is like we were more on like the coast, and it is fucking nice and it's quite
Was it?
cheap. Yeah,
What's
man.
the main city in Croatia?
I have no idea, but
I
we
mean,
were
what's
in
the-
a
what'd you guys
city
fly
called
into?
Split.
Split.
We flew into Split, Croatia. It's where the Ultra Music Festival is. That's why we were there. It's basically like a Colin has gotten me into EDM festivals. So oh yeah, so much unsing. So it was there. It was a lot of fun.
When I go to Croatia, we got to do a little powwow. We got to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean anywhere in Europe, man. It's pretty simple for me to meet up. So if you're pick any city, like I have my favorites. I like Berlin's one of my favorites. Copenhagen's super sweet.
Copenhagen's expensive. We were gonna go there, but it was pricey.
Yeah, it's expensive. It's not Norway expensive, but it's expensive for
So
sure.
that means
I
Norway
guess.
is
Well,
expensive as shit.
it's
Norway's
quite
expensive.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Unfortunately,
When you guys were talking
But of
about
course,
beers,
like-
were you talking about pints or six packs?
this 15-ounce can
15-ounce can.
is 10. Yeah,
$10 American.
point 10 to 12. Yeah,
Damn.
and that's not from a bar. That's from
It's expensive.
the actual wine monopoly.
Got some Pizza Port in the house, man. Jim Tallmage, I'm opening up a Swami's IPA from the one and only Pizza Port. There's actually a few Pizza Ports, but there's only a one and only brand of Pizza Port, man. Which one are you at, Jim? Shout out to Jim, man, for drinking my favorite West Coast IPA. Shout out to everybody who's in here right now on an early Wednesday evening.
Back off, War Child.
Yeah,
Seriously.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and for those who are getting here a little bit later on, we'll keep this one up, obviously. The only ones I take down are like the 4-hour ones. But this is Daniel's son. He's out there. He's got a link. We have a link to his YouTube channel in the description of this video. We would love if you guys subscribe to it. Doesn't hurt. Doesn't cost money. It's free to do. It's free content. And maybe we'll write down how much you have right now. Do you have 2,000 subs yet? I know you're coming up on it.
No, we were like at 1,600 ish.
Do you have it to the can we wake up with 1,700? That'd be rad. What up, Josh? Joshua Baran in the house. That's a killer beard, man.
I think we're like at 1,650 maybe before 1,660 before the stream. So
That'd be nice to wake up with 17.
oh yeah, I mean your last video gave us quite the boost. So thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for the recipe. What do you mean by boost? Does that get you like 100 more?
I like 300 more.
Right on.
Which considering
Invoice is in the mail,
like-
brother. My lawyer. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
I'm kidding, man. Nah,
You
man,
already
that was-
signed the contract, my
No,
friend.
that was awesome, man. I love making that video, and I think I'm going to do that from here on out. And I think that's what I think that's a rad thing about the community. But I think if people want to get good at brewing, and I wish that commercial breweries would just straight up just give you their recipes like down to the water chemistry.
Yeah, they
Do
should.
you-
I
yeah.
mean, or they should. They can. It's up to them, and I get why you don't, but I do, and I think it's fun to share. But
I mean,
Yeah.
I think if, Treehouse was giving everybody their, down to their water recipe, down to their water chemistry, like, good luck trying to steal it and,
make it as good. Yeah,
yeah, if anything,
I completely agree. I mean, I think if these popular brands gave their recipes out completely full, one, they'd realize it's not so much different than probably other recipes that they already have. Two, they realize that, oh wait, it's still beer brewing. It's still about the process. The
Execution.
recipe doesn't mean shit without the process.
Correct.
So I would guarantee you all
Right.
of Treehouse's secrets are not in their recipes. They're in their
No.
process.
Oh, it's all execution, And it's like you said, it's like a
Yeah.
tripod. You take one of those legs out. It's like the recipe doesn't mean shit unless you have experience and you know what you're doing, man. Party time just had a Treehouse a few minutes ago. Party time, I want to know, was it delicious? Because every beer I've had from them was spot on. I love the brand. I love that Nate guy. He's a content killer, man. He's been putting out a lot of content.
They're doing great.
Oh, dude, that guy.
I love his channel because
he's the man.
Maybe the most inspiring brew channel that I've seen, in the sense that it's like, it makes me feel like we're on that path, or like want to be on that path of like starting little and then growing out of demand, and just that kind of the story of like starting there, and then this person that's so passionate, kind of just doing it based on passion and hard work. I think is an inspiring story. So
not only that,
I keep coming out with content. I hope they will, and I know they will, and I'm looking forward.
Well, I agree with all of that. A, he lets us know that it's humanly possible. And I think B, even more importantly, like the dude's our age. I'm 38.
Yeah.
Dan, you're a few years younger than me?
35, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the guy was rocking and rolling by the time. Let's say that his first place opened up when he was, I think he's a year older than me. So, I don't know. So, he opened up when he was 28, 29. He was probably a home brewer for probably 5 years before that, like you don't need like this Bill Gates money. I mean, in all fairness, this dude is kind of in like a league of his own, like this dude forged ahead when craft beer got popular. He got bigger through COVID. Not a lot of people do that. You compare him to like people like, oh, it's like the West Sierra of the East Coast, and I like as far as Willy Wonka chocolate factories go, just like the nicest breweries ever. Kent Grossman started Sierra Nevada in the 70s when craft beer wasn't cool and there was no competition and it was the wild, wild west, So to like get on that guy's level, it's apples to oranges, but it's still kind of the same money, power, respect, whatever, however you want to chalk it up.
Yeah.
But it's still cool that like that dude, like against all odds.
Yeah, and they had a business model of basically high demand and exclusivity, which is a very popular business model. Alchemist Brewing and
Heady Topper.
like a lot of these breweries, which is a not a bad way. Like you kind of prove to like future investors or whoever kind of actually ends up financing the large scale stuff, that you have the demand and the ability to execute. And then if you kind of have enough leverage with your demand, then your sort of ownership and your role that you can play is higher.
Right.
And that's what you do.
Interesting that I don't know what other styles that they do. I know that they're known for their hazies, by far. They're known for their hazies IPA. But the most popular brewery in Knoxville, based off beer, not based off like how big it is, or they've got a 25,000 foot projector and they can get all the games in here and this and that. There's one brewery in Knoxville called Zool, and I'm drinking their beer again right now. All they do is make fruited sours, hazy IPAs, and pilsners, and they do one pilsner. That is it. That's it. And then you go into so many other places where there's like 5 pilsners, maybe 1 hazy, 4 brown ales, and like 4 stouts. And people are like staring at the board and hemming and hawing and looking at this and that. The brewery that has just the hazies and the fruited sours and the pilsner, the beer is phenomenal. People are going through that line almost at kind of like an In-N-Out pace. Did you ever go to In-N-Out in Colorado? Is there In-N-Out in Colorado?
It came after I left. I moved out, I think, but I've been In-N-Out in California.
Okay, so it was probably busy when you were there, right? People are waiting in line when they're waiting in line, you know what they're doing? They know exactly what they want. They're not looking at the board. This is the first brewery that I've seen that has that. Most people go up there and they look at like, okay, I'm going to read 1 through 20 and this and that. And after I held up the line for 5 minutes, I'm just going to go back to hazy or Pilsner. This is the one brewery that's doing that. And I've never seen that in the beer industry before. Everyone thinks like, hey, we need like variety and this and that. It's like,
yeah, we have to accommodate everyone's taste.
No.
Yeah.
This brewery Zool, XUL, is the first brew I've ever seen that's straight up like close to In-N-Out. Like people just go up and they order and then they get their beer like then and there. And then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what we do. We do the specific thing. If you like it, come get it.
And they have it set up where it almost is kind of like In-N-Out or fast food. It's like you need to go over here. You can come up to the bar, but you have to go to the cashier first, and then you can sit at the bar. This place is like clockwork. Yeah. So you go up to everybody's got to go in and go to the cashier. Like just imagine fast food. And then if you go and sit down with that, you'll get a server from there. But no one's going to go up at your table and be like, hey, like here's a menu. And they're like, hey, let me get like 4 waters. Like, no. There's a water station over there. If you're already drinking beer, they'll come around with an iPad and keep serving you beer. But everyone's got to come up to the front like this. And they have like 6 beers on, like six or 8. And it's this and that.
Yeah.
And it's a phenomenal business model. And, I look around and people are closing out left and right. I'm like, this guy's tab was $50. This guy's tab was $80. This guy's tab was $120. Most breweries, like their average tabs are like 15 to maybe like $30. Yeah, it's interesting. Check it out. XUL.
But it's also, I think that's like it's seen time and time again, right? And you see that even with high-end restaurants versus like chain restaurants, and they have like a menu and you can order. There's 3 main things, or maybe there's like we have a set menu. This is all you can have. Or In-N-Out, it's like these are
4 things.
This is all you can get.
Right.
Yeah. You go to this beer, like this is what you get, and then I think people like that, and it does well, and that sort of not spending your time like I remember going to Cheesecake Factory when I was younger.
They blew
and
up.
It's like a fucking Bible,
right?
And it's just like,
right?
Am I in the Old Testament, the New Testament?
Right.
Like, what's going on here?
Right.
And also from a business model, like if you brewed, let's say, a 20-barrel batch of this brown ale that one person every 4 days drinks. So you're also like, you're keeping this inventory and wasted space on things that aren't selling. So it's like to me also makes more sense just to like, you just have what sells and that's what you do.
No, and I'm with you on that because the old school mindset would be like, hey, let's have that brown ale on for like that 2% brown ale customers that only drink brown ale. The smart guy nowadays is like, fuck them. Like it's not worth us to brew that beer and have it sit and have it be, taking up all this space in the cold box and, now it's hanging out under here. It's not liquid
you can
at
have
all.
It, and maybe like if you really get that person right, and like you really do, and you have like a storage of cans of different breweries or your brewery, whatever, they can get it.
Right.
But are people going to do that?
No, it's weird. Yeah. And remember going back, to every restaurant in the 90s when it was like your Cheesecake Factory thing.
Yeah.
And I remember going into BJ's. There was this restaurant chain out here like BJ's. I was like, this is so bad. You guys might have like the best food of all time. Everything might be good, like artichoke dips or queso fundito or whatever down. Like it could all be good. It's going to take everybody here like 20 minutes to look at this. And not only that, but on the back of that, they have like, here's our story. We started in like 1950s. There's people waiting in line that want to sit down that are like, hey, the line's too long or this is that. We're going to take off and go somewhere else now that we're going to spend, $300, $400, $500 there. Get people in, get people out. Yeah. I think that breweries can go the way that like In-N-Out is because I don't want to go to a place that has 50 beers on draft And I don't want to work at a place that has 50 beers on draft, because all that does is give everything anxiety. You know, this guy's
Yeah.
like, okay,
There's more work changing kegs. There's more work memorizing it. There's longer explanations of, oh, what's a ESB?
yeah,
You're
what does
like-
this stand for? What's a British mild? What tastes like a brown mild? Well, like, okay, let me try them both side by side. It's like, no, just eliminate all of that. Get rid of all of that.
Yeah.
And people have this thing where it's like, hey, I want to go to a brewery that's got, 30 beers on draft, and they do have the beer that I want. They do have the beer that I want, and I locked it in. But let's look at 30 more beers to see something that might catch my eye, and let's hold up the line for a minute or maybe 90 seconds, and then go, no, let's just go back to the one thing I was going to get anyways.
Right. Yeah.
So if you had a better flow of room, you're making way more money over the end of the day, let alone the week or the month or the year. So.
And that's the business model of those types of restaurants, right?
I think so.
It's like getting out good product that people want.
Yes.
And then
yes.
And then obviously, like for a brewery, obviously the environment needs to be like nice enough that you want to spend your time there, drink the beers that they have.
Right. And I think this is where craft beer ripped onto wine a little bit too much. Like beer, like turn it over. If you like, Dan, if we go to a winery, if we go to a distillery and it's prestigious, I want to sit down. I want to ask 20 questions. I do want to know this guy's name maybe, or, this and that. Beer doesn't need that. Craft beer doesn't need that. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
You're going to talk to them for 45 minutes and make them laugh their asses off. And that best case scenario, what are they going to do? Buy a 4-pack to go? Like, no. We could have turned a whole line of customers over in that, that half hour, or that 1 hour,
Right. Yeah.
So I do think the craft beer is the new wine, the hop is the new grape, but like at a certain point, this isn't Napa Valley. This is a brewery, and the most popular styles are the hoppy stuff and the light stuff, and maybe some of the sours. That's going to be the most niche thing. Everything else, you can kind of live without and be super successful as a brand. The reds, I don't know though.
Or you don't brew them, and then you bring in, you have like a list, which is sort of, and for the people that see they're really, really don't see something they want, and then you can hand it to them. It's out, but like you can hand it to them.
We're cutting out a little bit. We're doing the RoboCop thing.
Am I cutting out?
Can you hear me?
I'm cutting out. I can hear you.
You want me to get a reboot?
I'm
What's up, everybody? What's up, Todd
it's-
Porter? Zach Pearson. It depends on the
showing-
area. Plenty of the
It's
dumb.
showing a delay in the video feed.
I think we're good
Can
now.
you hear me now?
Having a brewery that only one dark and one seasonal would be dope. I went to a brewery in Czech Republic. All they had was just one dark and one Czech lager. People were just, you're forced to drink it. So it's like here. This place was making more money than Disneyland, than SeaWorld. They had 2 beers on, and that was it. It's the Czech pour where it's like that much foam and like that much beer.
Yeah.
But it was just
It's the same in Cologne, Germany, like where they have the Kolsch is from.
You get 2 options.
They give you these little Kolsch glasses, and then they just like check how many you give, and they just keep refilling them.
Same vibe.
And they just brew one beer. They like the brewery, the restaurant, whatever, has one beer that they have, and that's what you fill your glass with. If you have a beer glass, that's the only thing you get, and that's all they have. And they just like throwing them in your glass, and they're people are drinking them.
Not only that, they probably preload them, right? The servers just go around with like 20, and you just kind of signal them down.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like I don't even want to look at a beer menu. I just want a beer. Like it's delicious light beer. Boom. You just got 4 at your table. This guy dropped off like a pitcher of beer in like 10 seconds and made that place like $30. And the next guy hit him, somebody needs that. I don't think that would work in America, because that would be a thing of like, is this person 21? I got to see your ID. Maybe unless you had wristbands and it was 21 and up, it would work.
Yeah, it's a bit more chill in Europe for sure about that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question about that. Icarus, 7 minutes, depending on what's Icarus. I've heard of Icarus. The Winking Pig Barbecue. At the brewery where I work, all ordering is done at the bar. We do have food runners that take finished food out to the tables. That sounds like it's a successful establishment. The Winking Pig Barbecue. Is that what it's called? The Winking Pig Barbecue? Is this a social media person in there right now? Zool has the absolute best merch by far. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Party Time Brewing with the Dookie up there. All you need is a good brew and a great environment to be awesome. Correct. I agree. But there's also people that are selling a lot more beer and have bigger, what do you call it? The average receipt or time stamp. Like there's breweries that try to get people in on discounts.
Bigger tickets.
Yeah. There's people that try to get people in on discounts, like half off night, college night.
See. Yeah.
And then there's people that are like, we don't care about discounts at all. Like these are $9 pints and there's a line out the door, you know? So that's going to be a bigger ticket than college night or whatever.
Is Knoxville a big college town?
The biggest.
I honestly did not know that.
UT goes hard. UT goes hard.
UT,
yeah.
okay.
You know who like Peyton Manning is?
Yeah. I from Denver, so he went to the Broncos.
Yes.
Yeah.
And won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
Tom Alvarado, what's up, dog? Tia in the house, man. Much love out there in SoCal. What time is it there? 4:40.
Back off, war child. Seriously.
Yeah, so Peyton Manning is like the bigger than God out here. And
Right. Okay, gotcha.
even though he didn't win a national championship, but
Is the dating scene interesting in a college town?
here was my relationship with Knoxville. When I first moved here, it was not how I expected. But at that time, when I wanted to leave California, like I was going through a breakup and I was like just angry at kind of everything and just at, COVID and the cost of living. I would have honestly moved anywhere. I would have moved to Johnson City. I would have moved to Chattanooga. I was going to move to Florida, and thank God I didn't. Thank God I did, because anybody in here who's from Florida, it's just not my vibe. It just wasn't my vibe. And I came out to Knoxville, and I'm about a mile away from all the action, downtown, college stuff.
Yeah.
And I literally thought I was back in North Park in San Diego. Like I'm not the only straight guy in Knoxville, but I think I'm a little bit outnumbered. And I thought that the South was like not at all going to be like this. Nor did I care. I just
Right.
I
Just
didn't.
definitely
It was just a culture shock, and it was almost like exactly like the outskirts of downtown San Diego, except for that it's about a quarter of what it would cost, or a third. A third's a better thing. And then I started going to bars, I guess, by myself, and I would just Google this and that, and I didn't know that I was kind of going to gay bars. Or, maybe like half. Some bars are like, if you Google them, they're going to be like, hey, this is a gay bar. And then some bars,
Right.
like I
Or
bartend.
just like known if you're in the scene.
Yeah, like I'm a bartender at a place. I'll tell you off this, but like this and that, but like we're pretty much a gay bar. But it's not going to show up on that. Like it's kind of on the cusp of that. Like a lot of my regulars are more predominantly lesbians. It's more it's we serve a lot more cider outside of cocktails, or outside of cocktails. If it came down to like beer or mead, we sell a lot more cider. So the people that don't give a fuck about the football games, the people that don't give a shit about Peyton Manning, I work there one night a week.
Okay, yeah.
So this was kind of like the first time in my life where I tested the waters at Tinder or Bumble or online dating. I don't know if one's better than the other. And,
Yeah.
the South is still like the South, but we live in like a social media world, like people are like, oh, the South, like everyone's so nice. And people are just going to come up to you and what's up, darling? What's up, baby? Like, how are you? It's like, well, it's not really like that. Maybe it was like that, in like the 80s or something.
1955.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still got like, people are still staring at their phones. I don't care if you're in like, Vegas or China or Japan. Like people are just going to be staring at their phones, So I tried the dating waters out there, and I just I think ultimately the problem just came down to me, because I would want to work like 4 or 5 nights a week, and then I would do my YouTube thing, and then if I hit it off with a girl, it'd be like, okay, like you can really only see me 1 day a week or twice a week at the best. I do a stream on Wednesday, I work 4 nights a week, and then I'm editing about 25, 30 hours a week. And then in the beginning, they'd say like, oh, it's all good. Like I get that, this and that, we can hang out, this day and then that day. But then when, a month later or whatever, a couple weeks later, they're like, dude, you flaked on me again, or like, I thought we were supposed to hang out, and be like, hey, I'm behind in this video and this and that. So to have like YouTube, work 4 nights a week and then try to date somebody, something's going to get let down. Someone's going to be bummed out. And the best course of action for me is just to pretty much just be single and not let anybody down. Because I have this fear that I'm always like letting people down, like, hey, I've hung out with all y'all as a gnome. I brought him in town. And then this girl that was with us on Saturday, she's like, well, you haven't talked to me in half an hour. Like, fuck you, I'm out of here. And I'm like, fuck, like I'm hosting people right now. Like, can't you fucking like get it? Like,
It's not about you.
Yeah. So as far as like dating goes, ideally I would like to buy a house, and then I could quit bartending and I could just do the YouTube thing, maybe bartend.
Right.
Maybe
Build a studio.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
maybe like Clawhammer style. Or...
Yeah. And then I could finally have some social life, cause I don't think it's fair. It's so hard to meet people, right? Like for someone like you and for someone to, you like them, and then you're attracted to each other. And that's just such a hard thing to do, pushing 40. And then it's like, okay, we've got this thing. We like each other now, but we can't see each other till Monday, and it's Tuesday. So that I can't see you for 6 days. It's like, well, yeah, unless like you want to come over and say hi, shake my hand, and leave after 5 minutes, which would never happen. No one's ever going to be cool in that type of relationship,
Exactly.
So, yeah, that's kind of my thing. I think when something does kind of work out, I think I kind of bum somebody out and then let them down. And then on the other side of that, like, I just feel like maybe if I just don't get involved and just fucking jerk off on X Hamster for 6 minutes when I'm thinking about hanging out with, somebody, like, that would just make life easier, and just focus on what kind of like brought me out here, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it also makes sense to kind of like if you came there with the mission of growing your YouTube and stuff like that, like that's your priority.
Yes.
And if the people don't want to hang with that, then they don't fit. So
You're
it's
right.
easy.
And then it's on them. Because when you do kind of hit it off and you're kind of floating around with somebody and you're like, I like you and I want to be with you. We're not throwing the L bomb around yet. But it's like, honest to God, like if you want me to be successful, or if you want this thing to work out, we can't go out and have dinner and spend $200 on drinks every night. And I'm going to wake up groggy and hungover. And like I showed you a good time and you showed me a good time, but like we just took away, like, we just put like Homebrew for
What
Life.
you're
like,
working for.
We sent it back like a week, I hang out with the teacher, or you hang out with the nurse. It's like, that's their job. Like they wake up and like they do the same thing. For me, it's like, I've got to figure out like what I'm doing this week. I've got to like, the small time.
And they get paid per hour, right? Where YouTube, you don't.
They get paid salary or per hour. Yeah. So it's just a weird, it's just, YouTube's just it's been a good thing. It's been a really good thing in my life, but it's also like, probably denied me from like some pretty cool chicks. Or maybe, I don't know. It's
Mm.
just I mean, man, you make YouTube videos. Like nobody watches our shit, like
Yeah. You put in a lot of effort, like, and it's the video you're most proud of, and,
bro,
like,
dude,
after a year, it gets, like, 300 views, and you're
it's
like,
struggling
"Mm,
artist shit, but like
yeah, yeah,
if you want to do this and you have to do this, like you have to find a really cool partner that's like, I get it. And we just have to really communicate and compartmentalize our time with each other and your
yeah,
time with this relationship thing called YouTube.
yeah. Yeah, especially if it's, like, becomes full-time and those things as well.
Yeah, and I was listening to a Chris D'Elia podcast the other day, and he's a stand-up comedian, and no way am I ever comparing anything I've done to Chris D'Elia. This guy's an A-lister in Hollywood, but he's like, for me to be a successful stand-up comedian, like there was so many times where I could have been married, or I should have been married, or life would have been easier if I had a 9 to 5. But he's like, I just wanted to be a comedian my whole life, and it was very, very difficult for a lot of girls, a lot of people I dated, and that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I dated a girl for 7 years, and she would be like, "Dude, you're talking to yourself again, or you're doing this again, and you have insomnia the night before you upload." And you would never get that at a regular job unless you really hated somebody or this and that. But the reason I did that is because I loved it. Like I loved, uploading a new Homebrew for Life video. Where it's like I think people might watch this maybe 4 or 5 minutes without clicking off.
Mm.
It's maybe an 8 or 9 minute video. I think this is a good one that people might actually stick around for like 4 or 5 minutes, and that would keep me up at night. But the other end of that, like I'm tossing and turning, and like go to bed, go sleep on the couch, So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just I think I will always make YouTube videos unless I have like a kid or something, or there's something that's way bigger than this. But if someone came in and were like, "Hey, man, like here's a huge job, salary thing, and this and that." You can never make a YouTube video ever again. It's like, no, man, I'd rather make a fraction of that and just keep self-expressing my way through this social media platform, just because I love making YouTube videos. Like I think it's
Yeah.
literally back to what we were talking about. Our videos don't get shine, but when you upload that video, like I think it's like throwing a Hail Mary. You're like, I'm just throwing this out there to the internet, and I think it's gonna have
Yeah.
a lot more good than bad. Let's go. You don't get that from anything else. You're not going to get that from a job. You're not going to get that from, running marathons feel good and stuff like that. But just editing and
Yeah,
video.
and it's also
Sorry.
yeah, it's a cool process, and it's also like when you do the YouTube videos, right? You don't really know the reaction, so it's also that kind of
Hail Mary, bro.
unknown, right? Yeah, like you said,
Mary.
Hail Mary, where if you kind of write a report at your job that's the expected thing that was by a client, or
Right.
you do stuff like that, then it's kind of, you're not like, will it land, will it not land
Right.
necessarily,
Right.
and all that stuff. So it's just a bit yeah.
And if you
I
know
agree.
you're
I
going to
mean,
work more hours, you're like, yeah, I work this amount of hours. My paycheck's going to be like, $2,000 instead of, $1,500. You're anxious, and you're maybe a little paranoid to see that, but then you see the money in your direct deposit and you're like, okay, cool, I got it. Cool. Like on to the next thing. YouTube's got like just 3 or 4 days. You're like, okay, like it's people are still commenting or like clicking on it. Like you don't get that from a paycheck. You don't get that from,
yeah,
I don't know, just different avenues of life validation. We all work jobs.
Yeah.
We all want to get the good job and get the good paycheck to fulfill our things, and YouTube is like the ultimate, like, let's roll the dice, and that's the funnest part about it.
Yeah.
But you have
Yeah,
complete
and
control. Like, Dan, you look at this video, like you're like, I've molded this thing from 40 minutes to 10 minutes to 8 minutes to whatever. Like,
right.
this is like I think like it's not like you pawned it off, sent it to China or some Fiverr
Right.
website and this and that. It's like, no, I wouldn't care
Yeah.
about it at all at that point. I literally wouldn't care at all. But when you put your shitty
Yeah,
face,
because you're not like just the cameraman that shot it, or you're not just the boom mic holder.
right?
You're the you are the everything,
You're
and
the
then you sort
overseer.
of it's your idea, it's your
Yeah.
execution, it's your editing.
Right. Yeah.
But I agree. That's the literal reason I also have a YouTube channel, is because I've been in love with photography since I was like 18,
Mm-hmm.
and then fell in love with like videography, which is just 24 or 30 photos per second.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also like really into visual effects and stuff like that. So you'll see soon on our channel. So like visual effects and using Blender and motion tracking and stuff like that just like geeks me out. So it's just doing it just for fun. And
After Effects, motion, all that good stuff.
yeah,
No, and check him out. Your other channel is Expat Norway. Your other Instagram.
my Instagram. Yeah,
No, you've got some
my personal.
No,
Yeah.
you're a killer photographer. I never kind of went that route. I don't think I have an eye for that, but photography is like, to me, it's like art. Like I don't know if it's like acrylic or pencil or this and that. Like if it looks good, it's good, but you don't know
yeah.
why. Like I don't know how to break it down or put it into words, but you definitely have an eye for it.
Yeah. I feel like for me, I feel like I'm a geek. So then it's like I really like the technical aspect and sort of knowing like, okay, this is what I want to achieve with a photo or a video, and then this is how I do it, and what would be like a cool way to do it, and stuff like that. Like doing motion tracking with sliders and stuff like that. I think is really like for like the hard part for me is like how do I get it into a video about brewing beer, because it's like doesn't really
Doesn't really
align
roll
so
over.
much.
No, not a lot of people care
Yeah.
about beer, man. But it's rad that I mean, hey, at the end of the day, we got 32 people here watching us talk about beer, talk about YouTube. It's cool. CH just
Thanks for
described
joining so early. It's still some hours before your normal time, right? It's like
Yeah,
3 hours before your normal start time, or no, an hour.
1
before your
hour.
normal start
Yeah.
time.
Dan, we got
Yeah.
one more beer. I'm gonna go first this time.
Yes, sir.
You got one more beer in your system?
All right, go for it.
BRB.
Yeah. All right, I'm looking through the old chatteroonie here. Is everyone else drinking on this Wednesday night and or Thursday morning? Maybe I'm just only speaking to Rasmus in Copenhagen. Not sure what y'all. I did this thing with the background, made it blue. I went through like 50 different colors before I set on that. Spent way too much time. That's all I had to do. Oh, my chat went away. Mango peach Philly sour. Whoa. Todd Porter, are those both like real or like from the canned mango and peach? How are you fruiting that? That sounds ridiculously good. Also, is it sweet? I'm curious. Drinking a beer in a hurricane. Wow, does it taste better? Taste windier? Hope you're doing okay out there, Paul. drinking an undercarbonated hazy needs another day. Yeah. I feel like that's the story of a home brewer, right? Is you never wait that extra day. You have to tap it early and you're like, yeah, it'll be good. And he usually is.
Can I ask,
Frozen fruit, 3 pounds of each. Wow, that's a lot of fruit. Nice.
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
This is my 4th beer, and I feel kind of drunk. Do you get drunker the older you get, or do you have a better tolerance? Because I'm losing my tolerance.
I feel like for me, my tolerance hasn't really changed. Like, or I would say more. My tolerance. I feel is more related to food and my starting alcohol percentage, or maybe not tolerance is that word. How drunk I get is related to the food I eat, like how much food I've had, in the sense of like have I had food or not, and also where did I start? So like, am I
You
starting
talking about
on
styles? Because
12%?
I've got 2 Pilsners, 4.8,
Hmm.
a 6.7
Yeah.
hazy. Here's my 4th beer, and I'm feeling it. Like I'm gonna Uber if I leave. I'm not gonna drive.
Yeah.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also
Yep,
feeling, but I've
I'm
had
done.
to eat. But I'm gonna definitely Uber up to my bedroom.
Just roll over there, stop, drop, and roll into your bed.
Just gonna
No, I don't know what's
worm
going
all the
on with
way
me these
there.
days, man. I feel like I could drink 20 of these things without even thinking about it.
Yeah, or it's I find it pretty because I also have done I think similar to you, like kind of like kicking alcohol for a month or an arbitrary amount of time. And I kind of thought, and I was almost kind of looking forward to that, that, like the high after you've kicked a drug or something when you get back, like, oh, it's gonna like kick me more. But then I found that my tolerance like didn't change, nothing changed really. It was just I didn't have alcohol for a month and that was it. And that was all.
No,
Yeah.
I hear you. Into what I said earlier was total bullshit. I've had 3 beers. This is the 4th beer is the one I just
Okay.
cracked.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know, man. I think the older I get, maybe I need to be around people that might kind of balance you out, sober you up. You got to kind of think about like, hey, I got to talk to this person. I can't act so stupid. I got to kind of chill out. Maybe like be a better listener. So when you get drunker,
Yeah.
so you might get drunker by yourself, maybe.
Hmm. For I've also feel like
It's not a bad thing. I love getting
I
drunk. It's just hitting me a lot
yeah
more potent
I
recently.
yeah
I don't know.
I've noticed though, like as I've gotten older, I drink less solely for the fact that like hangovers just have become more annoying, and it's just like,
That's a very leisurely way of saying that.
and like they just like they'll they affect you more, or maybe they affect you the same amount. I don't know, but ooh, that's a nice glass.
Yes, sir.
But just like my tolerance of hangovers has kind of made me weigh like but is it worth it? But is it worth it?
Do you,
In kind of more, let's say, casual drinking, it's like if you're going out with friends, then you've kind of already made the decision, right? It's
right,
worth it.
right.
But if it's more like if
You're
you're
by
with
yourself. You're not celebrating anything.
yeah, yeah, you're by yourself, or like you're like you have a 8% beer with dinner and you're like, well, I have 2 more in the fridge.
Right.
Like, fuck it. It's a Tuesday. Those sort of decisions have changed in time.
Yes. And I think that it kind of has to when you're around beer that much, when beer is so accessible, and it's like, damn, I got 5 gallons of a good beer that I like, and I can
Yeah.
get it right there. That's, to me, that's like when you can like question your willpower, your discipline, your self-control in a drunken state of mind. Life is easier when you're sober. Like if you can test like those waters, like in a sober
Yeah.
state of mind, you could be like, nah, I don't want to do that. Maybe peer pressure works on you less, or
Right.
Maybe it's just like, I don't give a shit that we're all together. You know, first night back in San Diego, I'm not going to go to that dive bar that we went to when we were 21, you know, this and that. But I don't know. That's kind of like maybe my personal loophole with telling myself like I'm not an alcoholic, even though on paper I definitely know I am. But it's like getting drunk by myself, you know, because I can turn that off pretty easily. I think that alcohol and hanging out with good people and doing shit like this goes like milk and cookies, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that when you're drinking also if you work a double shift and there's a screaming dance floor and there's a million people, you know, I want this, I ordered that, you fucked this up, I said no tomato, fuck you, I'm going on Yelp. Sometimes there's nothing better than going home and just putting on like $500 headphones and just playing music and not seeing anybody's voice or your significant other, or your partner, your girlfriend, your wife. Just be like, hey,
Right.
I'm going to go in the garage for 3 hours before I come inside. I'm going to drink 4 double IPAs and I'm literally just going to like take the weight of the world off right now. That's when I would drink alone after like a anniversary day at a brewery. But back to your point, like, do I really need 2 more on like a Tuesday night? Do I really need 2 more, you know, on a work night? Is there something we're really celebrating? Did we really get that bonus or get that good paycheck? No. Do we really need that 1 more, you know?
Yeah. And for me, I like I'm weighing it against like if it's on a weeknight specifically.
And the answer is yes.
Like
I'm going to go get 2 more. I'm just kidding.
Exactly. I'm saying this as I'm drinking 3.8% beers starting at midnight on a work night.
Cheers to getting sober. Cheers to getting sober.
But I think like, you know, like I've heard you talk about like, and I think it's interesting like how people define like alcoholism and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, it's more like, does it affect your kind of like daily, let's say obligations, right? Like, are you not showing up to work? Are you underperforming at work? Are you, you know, not able to do the chores that you did or doing, kind of stuff like that? I think for me is kind of more where, I would draw the line of concern for myself personally. But like drinking a lot, like sometimes like if I get the house alone and then it's a Saturday night, like
Home Alone.
And people are like,
Home Alone.
Yeah. People are like, hey, oh, you have the house to yourself. It's a Saturday night.
Alone,
like,
baby.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy or I'm going to drink like 28 IPAs.
Yeah.
And party by myself, and it's going to be great. And is that an alcoholic? I don't know. If it is, then like, fuck yeah, it's great.
I'm with you on that. I think there's 2 things that define not an alcoholic, but when it affects your relationships with 2 things: A, your livelihood; A, with your money, and then B, your relationship with other people. And
right.
Other than that, like people are like, well, crap beer made you a fat ass, or like, dude. Zelda, Tears of a Kingdom, you know, made me a fat ass. The food I ate made me a fat ass. You know, like there's a lot of things that made me not go to the gym today. It wasn't just alcohol, you know, but Zelda doesn't, you know, Tears of a Kingdom doesn't affect my relationship with. I mean, maybe it does. Maybe it can get you fired. You know, maybe you don't want. You're just like, dude, I got to get this last. You know,
but then that would be like, you know, the addiction, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if I believe in alcoholism.
If you're addicted to Zelda, then because you missed work, then I would say like, oh, you're addicted to Zelda.
You're a Zeldaholic or something, you know? Like maybe there's no such thing as an alcoholic. Maybe it just comes down to your balance of willpower and self-control.
Yeah, and I think it's more like defining dependency, right? Like I think an alcoholic is defined by someone that's dependent, and so I think the word dependency is a broad. Like what does that mean? Like Zelda? You are emotional. Do you mean you're emotionally dependent, or does you like what does that actually mean? And I think what that definition is fluid and depending on the person.
It's very.
I think
fluid.
Usually, yeah.
Every
it's usually I think
write
like.
a book.
Yeah. But I think like you said, like if it is it affecting kind of like your work or work and activities and personal relationships, I would say would be the typically the most
Both.
um let's say defined like symptoms of alcoholism.
Both. And I think
But
alcohol
also
has
like yeah,
it's got such a bad
it
rap.
happens with everything.
It's got such a bad
Yeah.
rap. It's like, um, I definitely was in a relationship with a girl who didn't really drink that much, and I drink a lot. So there was some hangovers that I was like on a hike, and I probably wasn't in like the best of mood, and we were walking around town, and I maybe it was like, duh. But it was also like if we were just like this Jehovah's Witness couple that didn't drink, we were sat at home last night and been bored out of our minds. But like we went out and had a blast, went dancing, like saw a show, and alcohol made all that stuff way fucking better. So there's a balance of that as well,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's important for everyone to just kind of have their own definition of themselves and not really like. It's like the dude, like the lawyer guy that wakes up and drinks vodka and has to drink vodka, but he's like making $500,000 a year. It's like, if he's an alcoholic, like I want that, Like always he's a functioning alcoholic. I'm like, I'll take it too. Whatever I need to do to be a lawyer, just slay ball it in court, like fucking Better Call Saul, and make $1 billion a year, and like I'm supposed to judge him because he drinks vodka in the morning. No,
Yeah,
no,
but
no,
it's also
no,
like you said,
no.
it's stigmatized, right? Like we don't stigmatize people that are like physically addicted to caffeine.
We
We don't
don't
stigmatize
stigmatize
people,
people that stare at phones for 8 hours a day because we all
yeah,
do
they're
it.
addicted to their phones,
Right.
and then
Ben
like so
Affleck
it's
brought
just
that up.
different definition, and it's also different by every. I've learned like moving between USA and
That's a really good
Scandinavia,
point.
like it's different in every country.
Alcohol or staring at
So
phones?
both, but
It is both,
I would I
yeah.
would say like I would say the view of alcohol in Norway is completely different than the view of alcohol in USA, where the view of alcohol here it's highly regulated,
Mhm.
and then and it's also very expensive, and because of that, it's more a binge drinking culture. So it's for sort of like if I'm going to spend my $10 on this can, I might as well spend $100 and get fucked up than just spend $10 for no reason,
Right.
or like $20 and have like two cans and not get fucked up. So then it's
Gotcha.
like very binge drinking culture. But then out of the binge drinking culture comes like a heavy stigmatism towards alcohol, in the sense of like if you have beer at lunch, people are like, "Oh, are you getting drunk at lunch?"
Right.
And you're like, "I'm not getting drunk on a 4% pilsner in the middle of the day. That's like
Sure.
literally not how alcohol works."
It's 11.9
So then,
ounces. Like, take it easy.
yeah, exactly. Like
It's
that's
like a club
no, I'm
soda
not.
bottle. Chill out.
So, but then like that culture kind of is like brings a different type of stigmatism.
Interesting.
Uh,
Right. Right. America, it's like
so
day
here,
drinking. Like, here we go. Like, here we go.
yeah, in Norway, for example, a colleague of mine, I felt bad for laughing because I didn't know he was being serious. But we were having like a company party, and then he wasn't having any. It was like at the end of it was like a Friday beer sort of thing. He wasn't having any beers he normally does, and I was like, oh, like the normal thing is you're driving because the tolerance here is basically zero.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've like looked at a beer or said the word beer in the last 20 hours, you don't drive. So then I was like, oh yeah, like you're probably driving. He's like, no, I'm picking up my kid in 3 hours like I'm riding my bike in 3 hours to pick up my kid from kindergarten. And he didn't want to have one beer. And I was just
Like
like,
half a mile
that to me,
away. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah.
yeah. And I was sort of like, one, you're not going to be drunk, but it's like his worry wasn't like, will I be drunk? It's like, if the people that smell beer on my breath when I pick up my kid, if I'm drunk or not, then that is an alcoholic in Norway.
Whoa.
And so then that was like the big like, oh, that's way different. Like people bring kids to breweries in Norway or in USA, right?
Right. That would
You
never
would
happen.
never, ever in a fucking million years. Like literally, they can call the police on your kids and like or on you and take your kid away. Here,
I'm moving to Norway
It's
because
like-
I hate when kids are at breweries. I love kids, but I just can't stand when they're at breweries.
it's true. It's nice that there's no kids. At
There's
breweries.
there's no place in Norway, like even restaurants that are pretty much based around like craft breweries that have kids running around.
Absolutely not.
Wow.
No, I mean, like people like there'll be restaurants with beer, but they'd be like a restaurant, but there would be no brewery or bar or anything like that that would have a child.
Wow.
No, in fact, you don't really even see like children out anywhere at like those
8
sort of
o'clock,
things, unless it's
yeah.
like a very
Right.
never.
Right. Interesting. Hell yeah. We got Tokyo in the house, man. That's super interesting. Because I agree with that, people think like, oh, CH doesn't, he hates kids at breweries. I'm like, oh, he hates kids. I don't hate kids at all. I love kids. I'm going to be the greatest uncle in the history of uncles. Here's my thing, Dan. When we go to a movie, right? Now movie theaters are nice and they have a bar. We can order a drink. We're still there to watch the movie. We go to the game. Let's go watch Peyton Manning play this team, whatever. They sell alcohol. Cool. We're still there to watch the game. Restaurant, they got food. When you're at a brewery, you're there for the alcohol. Like you were there for the alcohol. And you're going to bring a kid in there. And, like elementary Brian, and I've got some buddies with kids. Like the only time I get outside my house is when I can go to a brewery because now it's all like family oriented. And I do get that. And I respect that and they make a lot of money. I'm just too old to work at a place like that. To me, that's kind of like one step up from like a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like you are there for alcohol. You are there for the alcohol. There's not sober people showing up just watching the game at this brewery. Like you go buy a movie ticket, you're there. You want to go see Guns N' Roses, everyone's going to be fucked up. But trust me, you were there for Guns N' Roses primarily. You go to a brewery and bring kids, you were there for alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's just a weird thing.
It's a different stigma in Norway because it's definitely like alcohol plus kids does not mix. Like even if like I feel like the best place ever to like kind of get drunk is like all your friends' kids are playing together and there's like nothing as long as you're not like wasted, right? Like as long as you're not like embarrassingly drunk. But like that seems like a good time to like at least have a few beers.
Yeah.
But like
Shit, that was
that is
the
a
90s,
absolute fucking that is an absolute fucking no.
Damn.
Like that is a faux pas. You have fucked up the judgment on you will be cast a shadow the rest of your life. Like,
everyone in the neighborhood.
You don't do that.
Talk about that and call you out. Who do you think has who do you think has the most liberal? Which country has the most liberal beer drinking culture? Ireland?
I don't know.
Is that a stereotype?
I mean, USA is quite liberal in my experience because even places where you think of like a lot of drinking, like Poland and stuff, they're like very, very strict laws there.
But I've got family in England, and they would come in for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and when they would get their food or whatever, they'd be like, I don't know, like a junior or sophomore in high school, and they'd get a glass of wine. And my grandmother on the American side would be like, whoa, like, what are you doing? They're like, no, we just have like pretty much what you said earlier. You can have like one drink with dinner, this and that. But in America, it's like, no, you're serving to a minor. You're a bad parent. I have to put this all over social media now and call you out and virtual signal. It's like, this kid can drive. Like, he can have one glass of wine, right? Like, that's how my logic works. But in America, it's like, no, he's over 21. Like, he could be in jail.
Yeah, then I guess it depends how you define liberal. Like, because if you mean liberal for sort of integrated into culture like you're talking about, then I would say that's very much like Southern Europe, like France, Spain. You know, in France, it's cool if your 13-year-old has a glass of wine. They're not going to die. They're not going to get too drunk. Like you're an adult. You're controlling it. The drinking age in Europe's 18. I think the 21 drinking age is a bit weird, but guess that's the way it is.
yeah, but it's kind of easy to lobby both sides of that. I mean, I don't know, man. It's always like, oh yeah, you can go to war at 18, but you got to be like this and that to, you know, buy beer or cigarettes now. But it's like, I don't know, man. If I, in my hometown in San Diego at Mission Beach, there was a lot of fucking dumbass. But then lobby the other side. It's like everybody in America, whether it's legal or not, like you're gonna get it. You have a fake ID or an older brother or this and that. So like it really, really, really doesn't matter. But I do think there's something behind, like if you have a kid or not a kid or whatever, but you know, someone who's in high school who can drive. It's like if we give him one drink at dinner, he'll have like an understanding for alcohol and kind of know his limit, rather than like so many kids that I knew, you know, I was the bad influence growing up. And then because I pretty much started early, you know, I started fake ID stuff, buying weed, selling weed, 15, 16. And then when they hit 18, they were like, every drink's got to be a shot, you know, like smearing off bottles, shots. And I was kind of like, cool, I'm going to chill out at this party, drink a 6-pack of Newcastle, watch y'all blow it, you know, because I've already done that when I was 14. So when you are like going off to college or you're now 21, you're kind of like, okay, I have experience in this regard. I'm going to watch all you guys act like how I was when I was 14, 15, you know? Yeah. It wasn't because my parents were giving me glasses of wine. It was because like I just, as soon as I went to high school, man, it was straight up Jonah Hill from Superbad. Straight up. No ifs or buts.
Yeah. But I also think like having like the thing about like having wine and stuff like that when you're younger and a difference, let's say, between different cultures is that that's sort of you're also learning that alcohol doesn't equal drunk.
Correct.
Right. And so like you can have a glass of wine like with wine because it complements the food, and it's a nice drink to have. It's nicer than water.
Yes.
And so so it means like you can enjoy it without getting fucked up. Where like in Norway, I'm not saying that Norwegians can't have a drink without getting fucked up, but
water. I like that a lot.
But what else is a kid gonna drink, right? So like in Norway, then it's a bit different because it's like if you're having alcohol, then it can often be seen as like, oh, because it's like they don't have this culture of like you can have it with dinner. It's like, oh, alcohol equals fucked up. And then like what you're saying with like if it's restricted with like families and people like at a younger age, then they only see it as this taboo thing for being like, oh, alcohol is for getting fucked up. That's what it's for. Right. It's not for like enjoying with dinner. It's like we don't have a beer and stuff like that. It's just like, what does alcohol mean to you? And that is sort of how you are kind of raised or seen, like, or like given to it. Like, how is alcohol for getting fucked up, or is it for like enjoyment? Is it you have it with dinner? It's, you know, if it's red meat, you have red, or if it's dark meat, you have red wine, and it's fish, you have white wine, blah blah blah. Yeah,
I think that alcohol in cigarettes in America is always a stigma, you know, even in pop culture, you know, if a guy's drinking or a guy's smoking a cigarette, he's like the bad guy, you know, he's the bad dad that like missed his son's game, you know, because he had like 2 beers. Next thing you know, he's like fighting the coach at the end or something, you know. At the end of the day, though, like my dad had 2 Heinekens his whole life. I'm sure he had a lot more back in the day. But in the later years, since my dad was pretty much 50 years old and on, like he just came home from work. Nobody worked harder than my dad. He had 2 Heinekens on the weeknights, and then maybe when we'd go out, he'd get like a Manhattan or an old fashioned. And I loved the way my dad drank. Like I loved it. Like he never got drunk unless we went to like Vegas or something. I mean, sooner or later, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But just the way that you can come home, work a 8-9 hour day, sit in traffic, drink 2 Heinekens, still make food for me and him with spaghetti every night. But like just to do that and like just, hey, I had 2 drinks, time to cut it off, this and that. It's like some James Bond shit, like I'll have the
Right.
shaken not stirred, like this and that. It was always
Yeah.
Heineken. He always poured it pretty much into a Collins glass. If anybody knows cocktails out there, there's different, what are the names for glasses? Coupe, Collins, Martini, coffee, pint.
There's one that's like on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of it. Shit. Yep.
Any which way. So he would just do 2 Heinekens into a Collins glass. And a Collins glass is for like a mojito or like a Bloody Mary or a Long Island iced tea,
Right.
Like he would just have light beer in there. And I just thought it was cool that he could do it and watch some sports, chill out, and then read, 100 pages of the book upstairs. And I was like, dude, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nothing about like, let's go get cocaine or let's get out of control or let's wrestle each other. Like it was just a way that like I just did 8 hours of a day to put food on the table. This is my time. Like I deserve this. I thought it was fucking awesome.
Yep. I'm have a few, just like enough to feel it. I'm good now.
Yeah, and it's beer. I'm sure once you get over 50, you probably start peeing a little bit more. Maybe, I think I'm at that age. I had 2 beers a couple nights ago. I took like 4 pees. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's happening.
It's happening. I don't know if there's more ABV. Do you piss more or less? If it's like a Mexican lager, does that mean less or more? Northwest Small Batch in the house, baby. Let's go.
Whoop.
Bruce, USA, drinking 21. Surprises me. California's 18 or 19. Dude, California drinking age in the next couple of years is going to be like 30. The way that the permits and
Canada.
Oh, for sure, yeah. JF, spent some time in Czech, Austria, even here in Japan. It's not that big of a deal to have children in a pub or brewery. Extremely rare to see them in straight up bars, though. Well, I think that Dan was talking about probably all of that's kind of just like consumed into one thing, right? You'd put like a pub or a brewery.
Yeah, and or breweries in general, any alcohol establishment, because there's not like breweries too. It means breweries too, because there are breweries here and they have food. There's even breweries that have outdoor things where food trucks come, just like you would think in USA. No children. Never seen one. There won't ever be one, unless the culture changes, but it won't. Which I'm not saying against not having them. Just it's different.
So I'm gonna get in trouble again. Supposed to hang out with somebody like, you want a rain check? When somebody sends you like it's all good, and then they send you the exclamation point at the end of that, it's not all good. It is not all good. Hey, it's all good.
Are you supposed to be on a date right now, man?
I wouldn't go as far as calling it that, but closer to a date than getting coffee at 8:30 on a Wednesday night. No, but no, Dan, I'm having a blast, man. If you can do one more, I'll do one more. If you're going to bed, I'm going to bed, and by going to bed, I mean I'm going to go out to a bar and eat Irish
and sleep there.
And I'm going to bring 4 kids. I'm going to adopt 4 kids on the way. Just bring them in there.
I think I'm going to finish this and then call it. I would love to do another beer, but it is 2:30 my time.
No.
Yeah.
Well, let's wrap it up. I've pretty much got the same. Hold on. Let me pause it one more time. I'm going to go drain the main vein. One sec.
Noise. All right. That's why I started. 18 is how I got beer. Yeah, home brewing. I mean, that's what a great way to get beer when you're younger. It is interesting, though, like the differences in the cultures. Checking through the chat here. Oop. I don't know. What are all your thoughts? Like, especially those not in the USA, like Canada, and I guess we've heard a bit there. Like, is it cool to have kids at the brewery or around drinking? What's the culture there?
All right, I'm back from the dead. What's
Oh
good?
yeah.
All right. All right, so we're coming down to the wire. It's 2:30 Dan's time. Check his channel out. Anything you want to plug? I mean, you know, he talked about that epic video that's coming up next.
Yeah, got a video. I mean, we do sell merch if you're into that stuff. I actually wore one because it's my favorite. It's like these are all the flavonoids in beer, not the only ones. But just like nerdy shit.
Can we
So
put it in the
if you
chat?
want,
Can we throw it in the chat?
yeah, it's just at bentgate.no. So it's
At
our
Bentgate.
website. No, yeah, it's the Norwegian. It's like the Norwegian.
Oh, instead of .com or
basically.
oh, I got you. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'll just toss it in the chat here.
Throw it in the chat.
But,
Support the barrage.
Woo, 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 woo.
Todd Porter.
But,
Subscribe to Bentgate. Big love to Todd Porter, man. Thank you, Todd. Cheers, you Braji.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Todd. Appreciate it. So I know it's like awkward time for everyone. Appreciate it. But no, nothing else to plug other than, honestly, I was just here to hang out with you, man. And
You're one of my favorites,
I can't
brother.
hang out in person yet, but this is the
No.
way to hang out. So
Dan, you're one of my favorites, man.
great.
Yeah, tell Colin I said what's up, and stay on the grind, stay
I
hungry,
will.
keep doing your thing, and figure out ways to go at a pace that you're productive but not getting burned out, and never get too high or too low like me.
Yeah, that's sort of our goal, is just to kind of
There's
be
no-
what's
There's no too
we
high.
can do.
Yeah, there's no too high or too low with the brewing. And
Our goal is just to do cocaine every day and just get way too high.
just do cocaine all the time. Start selling it, and then you don't have to deal with lenders, man. Just pay for
Exactly. If you've learned anything from this stream,
anything from this,
is
man. Tony Montana, Uncle Tony has been right since day one, man. 100%. All right, well, let's get out of here. Here, I got this much
yes,
left.
sir.
Anything? What's up? Hoovenall. Yeah, it's an early one, man. We did
Yeah, sorry, man. It's my fault.
You know what's the good
in
thing about
Norway.
it? No, it's not your fault at all. The good thing about tonight, it's 8:30. I don't have to work till 6 o'clock tomorrow. I should go
Nice.
out.
Back off, war child. Seriously.
Yeah.
I should Uber City. But
Do
if
it.
anybody's got anything else for Dan, we got a couple more minutes here. Hoovenall, man. Much love, you, Braj. Northwest Small Batch, Prue, Stephen Plass, JF, all this green in here. Chris Vodka.
1 more 5 hours.
He's the dookie in here, baby. Goosey, man, out there in Texas. Much love, Goose. I was going through a clipboard the other day. I was cleaning up. Goose Fraba sent me one of the first guys who's ever sent me stickers was Goosey out there.
Back off, war child.
nice.
Seriously.
Texas. Big love to Todd Porter. Again, subscribe to the channel. That's super awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to plug something.
Yeah, plug it.
I want to plug these guys' channel because I think that they're definitely in like the top 2. Them and the Brew Show, probably best content out on the internet. Different styles. These guys have definitely more. What do you call it? The thing that flies in the air, fly to the navigator thing. Drones. These guys have a drone,
Back off, war child.
and
Seriously.
these guys have a lot more of like lifestyle content, B-roll, storytelling than the Brew
Oh,
Show.
thanks.
The Brew Show's got a little bit more like keyframing vibe, I guess.
Yeah, and his
Is that safe to
Trent,
say?
you're
And we're not talking
yeah,
shit.
and also Trent's
You know what?
like,
We are talking
I would
shit.
say more
Fuck,
educational
no, I'm just kidding.
content, right? Like
Yeah. Nah,
Trent, Brusho is very educational. Like, if I need to learn how to do stuff, that's where I go. We're more like
vlog.
vlog. It's like basically the story of if you guys wondered or want to start a brewery yourself, but you don't have $200,000. This is the story of that.
But you
And we
guys
happen to be
also
starting
have
it.
that like Point Break Casey Neistat B-roll. You're like, whoa, like that was like I don't know if you got the joke when I made that video, but I grew up watching that movie Aspen Extreme. It was one of my favorite movies, and I said that in the video. Did you see that movie
Yeah.
in the 90s?
No, I didn't. So I didn't catch the
bro,
joke. No.
Aspen Extreme, bro. Dan, as soon as we get off here,
fucking
look
up.
that up. Like back in the day, before, I'm sure the Winter Olympics were still around, but it was like who could ski and do the cleanest
Aspen Extreme, 1993.
the cleanest and fastest figure eights. You don't remember that
Okay.
movie? Shit, man.
I don't.
Man.
I don't. We're the
Everyone's-
same age.
Yeah, thanks for the compliment. I'm like 5 years older than Dan. But no, hey, yeah, Dan's got a killer channel. It's definitely more eye candy. Like we talked about it earlier. He's a photographer. He's got the eye for it, something that I don't have. I just have to rely off my iPhone and all the ADHD that I've written down for the week and then just kind of go from there. So everyone's just kind of got their own little style, own little, ways to differentiate, but still kind of focus around beer, which is why I think we're all here.
Yeah. So if you're interested, subscribe. But
Buy the merch.
I'm just happy. Yeah, if you want. But I'm just a bit happy. It's been fun to hang out and
Super
really
rad,
enjoying it. And
Dan is my friend at
It's
this
gonna-
point, and I'm gonna buy a T-shirt. Well, I shouldn't have said
Sweet.
that. It would have been funnier or cooler if I was just wearing it in Home for Life T-shirt. You're like, whoa. Party time. We miss you. We miss you putting out content. Hope you're back to 100%, man.
Yeah, but speaking party time, actually, we were canning today, and we used
you
your
guys
tip
You guys have a lot in common.
of putting the paper towels taped to the top for when you put up the lid of the cannular. So thanks for that, party time. Love your channel.
I got hit.
He did a like cannular canning tips and tricks video, which is very relevant in my life.
I think I remember that one. Before we get out of here, though, really quick, do you vouch for the cannular or the October? Am I saying it right?
I've had really good success with the cannular. I can't speak with the October.
Okay.
So I've had good success with it. I think it just depends how much you want to spend and stuff like that. We've recently just
$1,000.
changed to the new kind of CDL chuck that allows us to do in Norway these black, like we can't get these in the normal one. So yeah, it's been good. We've canned today about 260 cans kind of casually, like listening to music, taking time, in about less than an hour and a half.
Okay.
So that, it works well and it cans well, and
Reach out
ours
to
actually
those
came out
fools.
pretty well out of the box. So I don't know. I think it's good.
Okay.
I prefer I prefer that you can just click a button and it puts in the rollers. Some are like manual, but I prefer the one that is the semi-pro where you just you click a button and then the rollers kind of seam the can and it's easy.
Because I do need something, and I know you got to get out of here, but I was talking to Anvil, and we were talking about doing a sponsorship video on the Crucible. It's a fermenter. I'm not going to do that, but I wanted to know about their beer gun because I really want to figure out how to ship beer. And I was thinking maybe get a cannular, but not a lot of people that, what do they start at, like $1,000?
I do not remember the price.
That's a different
I don't know if they're that
conversation.
expensive.
Yeah.
But as party time is saying right now, I do have the duo filler for filling cans versus I've used other things. I've used the tap cooler. I've used guns and stuff like that. It depends on your goal, but the duo filler has been
Sour
great.
beer.
Like it's basically like you just set it there, you program it to the can, it fills it perfectly, and then you can just like blast in the cans. If you're
Okay.
filling for from a homebrew perspective where you just want to can like one or two at a time, then like tap, or you just like fill it with on your tap. Like it doesn't really matter that much.
No, I'm gonna look into this
Um,
though, because I need to start sending people my homebrew, and I just want the best thing out there to do it. And I want to do like a partnership and make a video, and if I'm like, hey, this is the best way to
Yeah.
go, so this is what you guys are here for, because I know that there's things out there that are rad, and there's things out there that are trash.
Yeah, I mean, I know Portly's been doing stuff with Kegland, which I'm pretty sure they're sort of like they are definitely a seed, the kegland.com.au
Vodka.
there. So hit up them. Like they do this cannular product. It's good. They stand by it.
Cool.
I think cans the way to go though. It's actually like it seems like it's hard, but it is so much easier than bottling.
My
tell
only
you.
problem with Kanzo is when you have a sour that's 3.3 pH. I'm worried about that eating through the lining.
I mean, what's the pH of Coke? I think it's lower.
There's no way. Coca-Cola
It might be. Yeah.
over sour beer?
Cola. Yes. I mean, pH. Coca-Cola is 2.52. Pepsi is 2.53.
There's no way.
They're lower. Remember, sour, pH, and total acidity and perceived sourness are on a triangle. So pH does not equal sour if other things are considered, like
Because there's so
sugar
much
content.
sugar in there?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So and you also have
Whoa.
what's called total dissolved acid or total acid content. So it's not super linear. For beer, it's pretty well comparison. So if you're comparing beer to beer to beer to beer, especially of the same style, then pH is certainly a really good way to kind of see like what's more sour. However, even within beers, if you add sugar or other things, then you can have different levels of perceived sour.
Whoa.
So pH is just like one guide to sourness, but Coca-Cola, and to give it that context, right? Like 2.5 is 10 times more acidic than 3.5.
Right. But
Because it's logarithmic.
here's my point of reference. There was a brewery that was doing 3.2, 3.3 sours. And their sours were eating through their cans. And people thought that it was like Breaking Bad shit. Because obviously, acidic and cheap metal like aluminum doesn't work well over time. And they were putting that on social media. I never thought about the factor. Okay, you're right. Because exactly what I just told you about this beer. I brewed a 3.3% sour beer, and I'm adding all this pineapple puree to it. So before the sugar, it really is 3.3. But after that, it's not going to taste anything close to 4. It's going to be way more north. It's going to be way more base or alkaline. I didn't even think about that.
Which is
why
why
but at the end of the day, if Coke is still... Sorry, what's up?
That's why they make them so acidic, right? Is to balance the sugar.
Or else it would be way too sweet?
It would change your perception of sweetness, and it would change your perception also. Remember, like Coke and stuff have this like bright like snap flavor to them, which is like citric acid flavor.
Yeah.
So then it's like it also changed that perception of like that like snap bright like tip of your tongue flavor, which is super important. Which is what they put in all like seltzers, for example. You put like citric acid and stuff, which just like gives that like that like popping bright flavor.
I know a lot of weird things about Coca-Cola, because the people that are diehards, like the John Daly's and the pro wrestlers that literally eat nothing but fast food, they always like Coke more, and they know it's better when it's from McDonald's. I don't know if that's like a wider straw thing, but there's definitely certain things that they do with Coca-Cola that
I mean, I would guess that. Yeah, okay. I would guess if you got Coca-Cola from McDonald's from a can, they'd be different because, like, for McDonald's, they're mixing a carbonated water stream
No,
with a sugar stream.
Dan, I'll send you the link though. They do different stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's different stuff at McDonald's where the ice is a little bit different. People will tell you that really know Coca-Cola, the best Coca-Cola comes from McDonald's. And you would think on paper, right, it's just the syrup and the carbonated water at the same tank. No, they do something different. There's a wider straw. You get hit by like something before this. There's a whole weird science behind Coca-Cola and McDonald's and this and that. But I know you got to get out of here. I'm going to stay up all night staring at the wall.
Bruce actually has a good point. So he says pH is just a measure of H or hydrogen ions. And that's true. And I think another way to think of pH in the relative to beer, of like maybe it not actually telling the whole story, is thinking of IBUs, right? So IBUs is just a measurement
relative
of an alpha acid. But that alpha acid measurement, the perceived bitterness or the perceived, let's say, sourness in these pH, there are also a lot of factors in that. So like, as everyone knows here with beer, right? Like something that has a IBU of 90
I'm with party
can
time.
actually not taste as bitter as something that's 70 due to a boatload of factors. Okay. But I should get heading out. It is now sweet.
No. Yeah, we'll do this another time. I'm glad I got you when I got you because we came up on almost 3 hours, and I know it's almost 3 a.m. in your time. What pH is cocaine? Dude, that's a
pupil.
Dude, that's a fucking t-shirt or a bumper sticker. What's the pH of nose beers? Hey Dan, I appreciate it. I'm getting picked up here in like 2 minutes, so when I take off from here, I'm gonna shut the whole PC down. But I want to thank you, man, and to everybody else in here, all the barrages. I see all the green.
Thank you guys.
It was good to see Portly Gentleman drop that. We got a link to the YouTube channel. Got a link to the merch. This will be up for damn sure. No reason to take this one down. And in the morning, I will post on Instagram the pH of cocaine. We'll know for damn sure.
We'll find out in 25 minutes.
Hey, dude,
right.
tell Colin I said what's up, man. And once again, bro, thank you to everybody who's in here. I'm out of here.
All right, thank you
guys. Picked up.
Let's
do this again soon.
Let's end this and take care.
All right, guys. Everyone have a good